Well, get a load of this one. It is the last Tuesday of January 2026. Good afternoon, Saskatchewan. I'm Dave Thomas, filling in for Barney Shynkaruk. Don't worry, you don't have to put up with me for long. I'll be here for the first 60 minutes or so, but he has got an action-packed show set for you to go today, including Arash Madani will drop by with his take on what's happening south of the border as they prepare for Super Bowl 60. PumpJacks Trivia. Somebody's going to have an opportunity to win some cash and fun at PumpJacks. That's coming up a little bit later on. And, of course, CFL insider Glen Suitor from TSN will join us as the march, the crawl, the walk. I don't know. We're getting closer to the CFL's negotiation window opening. That will happen on Sunday, and that's when all players that are pending free agents will be available to be spoken to by other CFL teams before actually signing deals on February the 10th. One player that will not be speaking with anyone is Nelson Lacombo, as he was scooped up by the Saskatchewan Roughriders today, re-signing for another year in green and white, of course, after having originally been drafted by the Riders and remarkably entering his sixth season. That's one of the many headlines we're going to talk about in the first hour of the program, as I am so pleased to be joined by the professor himself. The one and only Mr. Don Hewitt joins us as we are going to talk some football, and I thought it might be fun to kick off with a question and answer. So
I'm going to ask you more than...
You're asking me questions.
I'm going to ask you more questions at the end of this hour than you will ask me.
Oh, we'll see. I've got some pretty good questions. At least I think I do. But we'll talk about that. If you are following as well, other stories that are making news today. Dakota Shepley, former Saskatchewan Roughrider draft pick, of course, spent some time in the National Football League, has signed with the Toronto Argonauts today. Ottawa, this is a surprise to me. Devontae Dedmon, of course, one of the top returners in the CFL. Now, of course, they've had some emerging talent from other positions in Khalil Pimpleton, but Devontae Dedmon was released by the Ottawa Red Blacks this morning. We've got some sad news as well from Riderville regarding Steve Stickman Dennis. And you remember Steve from the 70s, right? That was when he was prolific?
Yeah, Steve Stickman Dennis played for the Rough Riders from 1977 to 1984, Dave. He was outstanding man coverage. He was 6'4", and as I think it was Al Ford, the former Rider general manager, told me, he was 165 soaking wet. But a great cover man on man, but not so great on, sometimes when supporting against the run. I know Steve Mazurek, who you know, currently the chairman of the Plaza of Honor, he remembers not wanting to go against Steve Stickman Dennis in practice because he was so good on man, but he was the reverse against the run. I remember one year, I think early 80s, Dave, I believe, there was a fullback playing for the Ottawa Rough Riders by the name, what was his name now? Jim Reed. And Jim Reed was one sturdy, slow fullback.
Okay.
You know, probably 230, 235. Again, the stick man at 165, providing he just had a shower. And I'd never seen this before. Van Stone remembers it well if you ever want to talk to him about this play. He comes around the end, Jim Reed, and there's nothing but grass or turf, whenever it was in those days.
Yeah.
There's nothing but grass between Jim Reed and the goal line, except for the stick man. It was a one-on-one situation, and it's the only time in pro football that I've ever seen a guy do sort of a matador move where he said, "Go ahead." Just off to the goal line you go. Stick just stepped right out of the tackle.
Wow.
But he was a funny man, and it's sad to see that he's passed away. He played at Grambling for the famous college coach Ed Robinson, who was very legendary, helping black players in particular play football.
Wow.
So he's got a great background. But that's sad about Steve Stickman Dennis.
Yeah, pass along, of course, our condolences to him. We are going to talk some more football in a little bit. Maybe go ahead and give the William Nylander salute. No, not going to do that at all. We should talk a little bit of curling, though, quickly for folks that are tuning in. Jolene Campbell on the ice against Carrie Anderson this afternoon. Not going well for Jolene. She just gave up a steal of a couple more. She gave up steals earlier in the game, 3, in fact, and now trails 8-3 after 7 ends of play. Of course, Jolene Campbell 2-2, Carrie Anderson 4-1. She was knocked off last night by Caitlin Laws in an epic battle of undefeated teams.
After a couple of tough Scotties, Laws has come back into form.
Caitlin Laws talked about she is perhaps getting to the end of her Scotties career, which seems incredible because she was the third for Jennifer Jones for so many seasons. And now I didn't think had put it together yet as a skip. But
you know what's interesting, because there's 3 very strong Manitoba Scotties teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and any 3 of them are in contention, I would say, to win it all, and right out of Winnipeg.
Yeah, and I kind of thought that Carrie Anderson does so well at the Scotties and then stumbles a little bit at the Worlds. And I thought, okay, she's going to steamroll again. She's got a pretty good pool set up, and she had a very favorable schedule. Like Jolene Campbell, my heart goes out to her. What a terrible schedule. When you're sitting and watching essentially the opening weekend while other teams are out on the ice getting reads on the ice, she had to sit and wait, then didn't perform well against Nova Scotia, got a rebound game after that. But
you know what I like about TSN is they always feature the Saskatchewan team when they're doing the Sandra Schmidt telethon. It's such a nice tie, and they got 1.1 million the other night.
Yes,
for the Sandra Schmirler Foundation, and of course Jolene Campbell was playing in that game, and it's a nice tie that TSN does.
Absolutely. So lots to get to today. Thanks for joining us, whether you're streaming with us online on X or at sportscage.com, or of course on the radio at 620 CKRM. You can always join in the conversation at 306-936-6262. Of course, that is the Prairie Rentals text line. Again, they've got all kinds of great stuff that you can rent, including snowblowers. Just throwing that out there. Let's talk football, shall we, Mr. Hewitt? And the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
That's why I'm going to ask you more questions.
Okay, well.
You're closer to the team, so get prepared.
Okay, I mentioned that Sunday is coming, right? The negotiation window, or as jokingly called, the Ed Hervey zone, right? Because Ed was the guy that... And you know what? Listening to
He's already talking to people.
Yeah, absolutely. But he, of course, you remember his first go-around in Edmonton, he would sign players 1 minute after the free agent window would open. And so at the time, they didn't want to say tampering, but they could have. And so now Ed kind of defends it, and I understand the rationale. He goes, you know what, if I'm going to be paying somebody a $20,000 signing bonus with the cap that I've got and what I have to inherit, I want to talk to them. I want to find out about them. I want to know what I'm getting into. So you can justify it or not. But when you look at what the Saskatchewan Roughriders have done, again, Kian Schaefer-Baker comes back, Samuel Emelis is coming back, Jack Cohn, the entire right side of the offensive line with Jacob Bramer signing yesterday. What's your takeaway?
Well, I think the Roughriders definitely targeted, as you know, Dave, a handful of players that were must-signs. And I think they've been successful at that, but there's going to be some casualties. I believe it was about last week's show. And Teagan did with Darian Durant. And he talked about how Malik Carney with you folks was a must sign. Darian is right, but I don't think you're going to see Malik Carney going anytime soon to Saskatchewan before everything starts going with free agency, because if you read the body language when you were interviewing Coach Mace and General Manager O'Day from Calgary when they're at the annual meeting there, you could just see their body language. They want Malik Carney back, but if you'd looked at their body language and sort of the things that they said when you were talking to them, it's quite evident, well, he's going to free agency. And, you know, there's going to be some guys the Roughriders are going to lose that they don't want to lose, but that's the price you pay when you win the Grey Cup. And it's the price you have to pay when you have to give raises like you did to Samuel Emelis, who is worth every penny that he signed for. In fact, I have no problems with any of the money they've doled out to any of their top-end paid players. I mean, look at Hardrick.
Yes.
I mean, he was the highest-paid offensive lineman until today.
Yes.
And now he might be a second, but dominated in the Grey Cup game, dominated his opponents in the Western Final. He's worth every cent. And that's why the Riders couldn't touch Shepley. I mean, they were already sort of cashed in on their old line. I mean, you got Bramer coming back at right guard. He's an all-pro. He's all CFL. They had to get him back. Well, guess what? They likely, Dave, gave him a raise.
Probably.
Come back. They would have had to give him a raise. So, I mean, you can only do so much, and we can get into specific players as we go. I think what I'll be interested to know when you and Luke are back at training camp in May in Saskatoon, I'll be listening to you guys because The left guard spot, Devon Tate is a free agent. I don't know if he's coming back. Somebody's going to want him. You know, the way he played towards the end of the season, helping Saskatchewan win the Grey Cup. I want to know, and I'll ask you, is that going to be a Canadian or an American position at left guard? Because my guess would be they want to probably, if they can, play a Canadian, and who will that Canadian be? But what do you think?
Yes. To answer the question, and I know that, yes, I think that in an ideal world, thanks Colson for the hot take. I should have mentioned that Colson Schultz is, again, programming or producing this program. I would, when it comes to that left guard spot, I think that there's a lot of things that can go into consideration for that, and I think that that is the luxury that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have right now. So we've seen Zach Fry. He was kind of plugged into that a little bit last year and got a taste and an opportunity. Travion Tate, by the way, Luke Mullender describes him as NFL caliber at the end of the year. He said this guy is playing at an NFL level. So who knows? He hasn't got an opportunity yet. Again, he is getting older in football terms. But so Zach Fry is definitely a question mark as a guy that might get a chance to plug in there. Eric Anderson, the second round draft pick, 13th overall by the Riders last year, is obviously a possibility. Then there's some wild cards.
Can Daniel Johnson play guard? What do you think about Daniel Johnson playing guard?
They like his long limbs at tackle. So I would think that that's where Daniel Johnson would end up being. The other intangible is that, does Logan Ferland want to play center next year? Because this year he said, I prefer playing guard. So Sean McEwen, who the team brought in last year to be the starting center, was injured day one of training camp. Does he come back in some way, shape, or form? And then if he does, now what are you looking at?
You bring up a huge question.
Yeah, I know.
A huge question, because I don't think Sean was coming back. He wanted to play, from what I understand, one more year before he retired, but then he didn't play all season.
Yes.
Does he have an itch to, I still want to go another year? That's a mammoth question you just posed.
Well,
whether McEwen will come back or not, because then you know that he'd go to center, and you know Ferland would go to left guard.
Well, Ferland would go to right guard, I'd bet. And then I would think they move Bramer over to left guard.
Oh, okay.
Because Bramer has done both sides of the line before, and then you leave your outstanding rookie, Peyton Collins, at the left tackle.
Oh, Collins, what a find.
Yes.
He might be the best find of the 2025 season that they recruited and brought up. Don't you think? I mean, until he hurt his ankle in the Grey Cup game, he had a solid Grey Cup game, as he did Western Final. Is he the best player they brought up out of nowhere, would you say?
Ooh, boy.
That's a tough one, I guess.
He's up there for sure.
He was tremendous.
He again, it was an oh boy, here we go again situation with the offensive line, right? So you have McEwen go down, Philippe Gagnon goes down.
Yeah.
Again, you were starting to get a little bit nicked up, and you're starting to get curious about what you're going to do. And then Peyton Collins came in, and he hurt his knee, right? And so he was the next guy to get nicked up after Daniel Johnson was given that opportunity. But boy, again, what a find, and what a great display that he put on, because when he battled hard to get back into that lineup. He was pressing the whole time, which I guess is what you do as a young guy. Even old guys do that. That offensive line, that could be a very interesting decision if McEwen comes back.
Well, is Dayton Black a sleeper signing? Because Dayton Black had a tremendous career with the Huskies. He was, the sixth pick by Hamilton a year ago? He almost lost his leg, leg infection. He's 6'6", 300 pounds. Is Dayton Black a sleeper? I mean, a sixth-round pick.
Sleeper? I would describe Dayton Black
area
as an athlete.
Yeah.
Because when he went to the University of Saskatchewan, he was recruited and played 2 seasons on the defensive line. And they just liked
what quarterback even,
in high school, right? Like, the kid can do it all, you think. And again, you'd have to think that he's going to have an opportunity to factor in, because, again, local product, but just the versatility that he provides with the big body, big frame, I think is outstanding. And
yeah, it could be a sleeper.
That's right. I think you're right. I think you nailed that one.
Well, you got Peyton Collins, used to be a tight end. And, the biggest thing about big men is their feet, as you know.
Yeah.
To be able to play the game. Like, Hardwick has such amazing feet for a body that size. It's unusual, and that's why he's such a great football player. But if you got a guy like Dayton Black, they used to play quarterback, and he could go on the defensive line. You got to know he's got the feet to be able to play, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. That in itself, I'm very curious what. And this sounds almost ridiculous, but players in 2026, and again, it's not just this year confined, right? But you notice how players construct their body? Like they build their body. It's no longer just this is what was born. This is how I'm going to build my body.
Yeah.
I'm curious what body set he's going to come in with. For example, I use the example of Riley Pickett, former Saskatchewan Husky, defensive lineman, amazing player, goes out to BC, drafted as a defensive lineman, and they're like, I don't know if we'll have room for you here. So he redefines himself, becomes the long snapper, further redefines himself, and becomes a fullback. So
isn't that something?
It's amazing what they can do, and Dayton Black, in my opinion, again, I know this is a stretch, but could you see that big frame on special teams?
Oh, my goodness.
So, again, it depends, right? If he comes in with an offensive line mindset, maybe not.
He'd be the biggest special teamer in the league, that's for sure.
Well, he wouldn't be getting down real quick. But I'm just saying that could be a massive body. And the things you could do with him, again, he can throw the football, he can block, he knows all of that. So,
you know some of these Husky players so well. And the one that really stood out to me last year in the playoffs was Seth Hundaby, the linebacker, who was sensational against Queens. I mean, Hundaby looked like a man playing against boys in that Queens game.
He did.
In the Vanier Cup against Montreal, it was tough sledding because Montreal was just so physical. But A.J. Allen, I mean, there's another guy that's got to be high on the list. He's from Ontario. This isn't a Schaefer Baker that left Ontario and made Saskatchewan and Regina his home. This is A.J. Allen, who may still want to be back in Ontario. You know him better than I do. I don't know. Tommy Neal, the same thing. He's from Ontario. I think Tommy Neal is likely as good as gone, I think, Dave. But could Hundaby, if they can't get A.J. Allen, can he fill in that spot?
See,
he looks like it'd be darn close that he could.
He'd be close. And again, right, it's another level. In training camp last year, unfortunately for Seth. Now, first and foremost, remind everyone that Seth Hundaby, when he was drafted, he told each and every CFL team, no matter what, I'm going back to school to the U of S to finish off my engineering degree.
Yeah, he dropped his stock. Yeah.
It's not exactly done yet, from what I understand, when it comes to the engineering degree, but let's just say that he had a pretty good recruiter and constant reminder of the football program there, as the head coach, Scott Flory, lives down the street from him. So there was always that claim.
Yeah.
But would you be able to step right in? I don't know that he could. I don't doubt that he could someday. Is someday spring 2026? We'd have to wait and see, because A.J. Allen, you're right. He's, as he says, I'm just a kid from Guelph. So again, there's probably some family ties, some considerations there that maybe he'd want to go back. But also, he's one of those guys that proved himself this year, right? Like, if you would have said right off the hop when C.J. Avery went down that, we're going to go with A.J. Allen, there were some doubters there. But he worked his tail off on special teams. He earned everything that he got, and it's going to be interesting to see what he gets. Well,
I mean, he was one of the best linebackers against the run in the league, American or Canadian.
For sure, absolutely.
And the Rough Riders, there's a player that they really developed with expertise, and he became what he became because they knew what they're doing in developing him. I hope they get him back. I don't know if they will. Now, Malik Straker. Now, there's a player. Sometimes you're going to bring a defensive back, a bigger guy that's a defensive back, into that will linebacker spot. If Allens doesn't come back, could Straker, as a Canadian, do you think he could play that position, Dave?
Yes. As Luke Mullender would say, though, the best ability is availability. And for Malik, the injury bug kind of chased him around the last couple of years. He is fantastic on special teams. The amount of respect that he gets, not just with the Riders organization, but the entire CFL for his special teams work, has been terrific. And that seems to be the roadmap all of a sudden, right? You come in, you perform on special teams, and I know this isn't news to Canadian Football League fans. When we were talking recently with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, perform on special teams, get an opportunity then to get in on the defense or the offensive side of the football. And again, Malik Straker is a guy that is going to definitely push for playing time.
He's definitely physical.
Yes.
And he's outstanding tackler, which we see on special teams. Nelson Lacombo, as you just mentioned at the start of the show, signs today. I thought he was really coming on at safety, Dave. He looked more confident. He was moving up more. Than had more confidence to move up, not sit back too far back, like he maybe did a little bit when he was first starting playing safety in the CFL. But that's another question, because they ended up, playing an American at that position with Rivas.
Yep.
But I thought Lacombo played well till he got hurt. Then after he got hurt, he wasn't quite the same. They ended up putting Rivas in. It certainly worked.
Yes.
They won the Grey Cup. But is Lacombo, do you think he's being penciled back into that safety spot and Rivas comes up, or what do you think, the linebacker, or what do you think?
I would be surprised. Rivas showed his versatility last year, and he talked about, to me, how playing safety allowed him to play both sides of the field. He wasn't limited to being a linebacker or a halfback, right? And he loved that. So he is unsigned and a pending free agent, right? So we wait and see what happens with him. Nelson Lacombo, 6 years now into the CFL. And I'd like to say that it's bad luck, right? So it blows his Achilles, right? That first year right after the draft. So he misses an entire season with that in the preseason training. And then last year, like, I'm with you, he was coming into his own, plays the game in Calgary. And I think it was the third or fourth snap. I can't remember. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
But the leg whip comes and it kicks him right in the ankle. And, like, the thing looked disgusting afterwards. And, like, it might have been, this sounds terrible, but the road to recovery might have been easier if it was broke, because then you can set it and do whatever, right?
Yeah. You're right.
So
it's often the case.
Nelson Lacombo re-signing, I think, is a valuable piece of the secondary that comes back, and you have the versatility to play him where you want. I believe that Nelson could also play half in the CFL. He was such a standout in university on the corner, and hadn't played safety at all. And so maybe you pencil him in. The other guy that, we haven't talked about for linebacker, and I probably should have interjected, was Nick Weeb. Nick, outstanding special teams last year, led the team in special teams tackles last year, coming in to another season where he's healthy. He's had that knee under him, and I think that there was some trepidation as to whether or not the knee was fully healthy. As you'll recall, he blew out his ACL in his final game of university with the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, and it's turning into a Huskies segment apparently. But again, I think he's starting to trust that, and that's the biggest thing, is you've got to trust it.
So do you think Weeb has got a really good shot at starting on the weak side linebacker spot?
He'll push for it. I think he'll push for it.
He's certainly physical enough. We know that. It's just some of his, can he drop and can he play the pass at times on that short end of the field or short side. Now, the way Brooks Jr. played, at strong side linebacker, did he, and he played, the last two games, I believe. He started the last two games. Does he make Rivas somewhat expendable now? I mean, is Brooks Jr., is it possible he's taken that spot over from Rivas as well as Rivas was playing there?
Oh, boy. That's a great question. CJ Rivas, to me, is, I called him the unsung hero of the defense at times last year, just because of his versatility, what he was able to do. He could rush the quarterback. He can go back in coverage. He can lay a lick if he has to as the safety.
Sure can.
Antoine Brooks Jr., you put him in, and all he did was make plays, right?
I know.
Comes in, makes an amazing interception in his first CFL game, and then went for the, I don't know, do we call it the Mosaic Stadium leap? I'm not sure what you call that. He was just pretty excited. And then, of course, the one in Ottawa, where he was instrumental with CJ Rivas and kind of changing up what they were doing and saying, hey, this is coming right now, like, just go. And so pick six later, and he scores. So I think that he's done enough to definitely earn the opportunity to win the starting job, because DeMarcus Fields is a pending free agent as well. So there's a halfback spot open.
Fields is interesting because he had his ups and downs, I thought, last year. But when push came to shove in the playoffs, he did pretty well.
Yeah, well, and again, he was a 2-year guy, right? So that was his second year in. He got to start in first year when he came up to Canada. And again, don't forget, these guys aren't raw rookies, right? So DeMarcus has got a pretty nice NFL resume behind his name, and I think he's one of those guys you don't want to lose.
Now, Micah Johnson becomes the defensive line coach. We know that's a good thing for the defensive line. He's going to be an outstanding coach. There's no doubt about that at all.
No.
But they lose him as a player. And it's crazy. They got Shane Ray. Now, neck, I don't know what his status is with the neck injury. You've got Mike Rose as a free agent, Kearney, Baldonado as the global player, I believe. Mm-hmm. How big is Baldonado's signing as a global?
That'd be big.
Because he's pretty valuable in that position, isn't he?
Yeah. And Haba showed what he could do when he got the opportunity when Shane Ray went down. And Shane is pending free agent as well, as is Haba. So there's some decisions to be made along the defensive line, which is why some of the Riders are signing some American defensive linemen right now, right? So the one thing if there's somebody that knows a defensive lineman out there, Coach Mace and Jeremy O'Day are going to find him.
Well, Caleb Saunders is underrated.
Yes,
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
He's all over the place and very fast and mobile, and he wrestles around out there. And, he certainly can get some licks in, but he's just sort of that mobile, plays sort of an angry but a great guy position. But I think probably you might see possibly a free agent from another team coming to play on the defensive line. I think you and Luke, again, going back to training camp or coming up to training camp, I should say, are going to be talking a lot about the defensive line in May, because there's going to be a lot of flux there. Is there not?
I see that happening as well. And when you talk about Caleb Saunders, you got to talk about the double teams that he takes on all the time. Mm-hmm. It's pretty incredible what he is and does when he's out on the football field. So Caleb Saunders, well worth the signing. It was a great deal that he got done. So again, I think he's going to be a force. But we need to take a break. And, of course, today, the Sports Cage brought to you by Saskatchewan Lotteries, bringing communities together. Saskatchewan Lottery products fund over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. We want to hear your questions, too, on the text line for Prairieland Rentals. Again, from skid steers to snowblowers, they've got it all covered. And you'll find it all when you deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. We've got the sports ticker to get to. Again, Arash Madani coming up a little bit later. Glen Suitor is on the way. We will give you a chance to win supper at PumpJacks. You don't even have to take us. It's that good. We'll take a break and come back with more. This is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and, of course, across the province on 620 CKRM. Text line always open for your calls and comments, 306-936-6262. Like Roscoe out Kindersley Way, celebrating his birthday today. So, Roscoe, have a happy birthday. And also celebrating today, well, he's got so many Saskatchewan ties. He's now actually an assistant coach in the AHL with the San Diego Gulls. Dave Manson.
Oh, wow.
How old do you think Dave Manson is?
Dave Manson, I'd say, is 55.
59.
Oh, okay.
59. One of the most gruesome injuries. Again, Dave Manson, one of the greatest people you can talk to, but of course had that amazing... He got in a fight in 1991 against the Vancouver Canucks, and that's when he took a punch directly in the voice box, and it just absolutely destroyed his throat. It was a scary situation, but again, he's very raspy, very whispery just because of that injury. You can't recover from it, but at 59, he's definitely had a lot of fingerprints on Saskatchewan hockey with the Prince Albert Raiders, of course. He's been there a couple of different times as an assistant coach and was with the Edmonton Oilers for a time, and now again with the San Diego Gulls. Not a bad place to be.
Dave, his son, not Dave, what's his son's
Lane.
name? His son for the Avalanche?
Yep, Lane Manson, yeah.
Talking about a chip off the old block.
Isn't that true?
He plays hockey.
Oh.
He's Dave's son, all right.
Yeah.
And, there's another topic that bugs me about Gary Bettman.
Okay.
This ridiculous playoff format that they play to try to sell more seats, but it's not fair for what's happening in the regular season. And the top example of that was what happened to the Avalanche last year when they had to play Dallas in the first round.
Yes.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, the way they've set up these playoffs. So, of course, it's all because of rivalries. Do the Riders sell more tickets against the Blue Bombers or Ottawa? Well, we know it's the Blue Bombers, so that's how they run their playoffs. And it's not fair. It's other than deciding who's in the playoffs, it makes the teams that are in the playoffs, their final result irrelevant of the regular season. Anyway, you said Avalanche. I just thought I'd throw that in.
I appreciate that. Do you think if Colorado got through last year, does Edmonton get to the Stanley Cup final?
Great question, because I thought Colorado actually outplayed Dallas.
Yes.
In that playoffs, probably you could argue Dallas got better goaltending and ended up winning it. But that's a good question. But, you think the Oilers are, maybe they're dead finally or whatever. Then you watch them play Washington the other night.
Yeah.
And that goal that Connor McDavid got in overtime, wow.
Yep.
I mean, he's still, by far, Dave, wouldn't you agree, the best player in the world? And that gives us the chance in the Olympics is Connor McDavid.
Okay, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but you brought me right to the SportsCage.com poll question.
Okay.
Because yesterday, Wayne Gretzky turned 65.
Okay.
So we asked...
He can get his Canada pension.
That's right, isn't it? Right? Big day for him.
Is he still a Canadian, though? Well, I guess he is. I guess he is.
That's a loaded question.
We'll just move on.
When was the last time he filed with CRA? No, never mind. We won't.
Well, I know one thing. You don't see him in commercials anymore.
No.
And Connor Bedard has taken over. Yeah. Now he's in the commercials with McDavid instead of Gretzky.
That is true. That is true. So SportsCage.com, the question is, who is the greatest goal scorer in NHL history? Now, you can go ahead and go any way that you want on this thing, right? Because it's wide open. Who is the greatest goal scorer? The options are Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, and Connor McDavid. And right now, leading with an 11-vote lead is Gretzky over Ovechkin, followed by Howe, McDavid, and then Crosby.
You know what's sad about Gordie Howe in some respects, Dave, is that, and he was the only player I liked outside of being a Montreal Canadian when I was a kid, but Gordie Howe's best playing days, when he was at his peak, was in the 1950s. Mm-hmm. That's when he was winning all the Stanley Cups for Detroit and dominating games single-handedly. Even I'm not that old, And the sad part of us is there's not many people alive now that remember Gordie Howe when he was in his prime. He was much better than what we saw in the 60s and 70s. Yeah. And he was fabulous in the 60s. But, we don't know how great. You have to find a few things on YouTube, and it's hard to even see his greatness even on YouTube. Yeah,
you're right. Great guy, too.
One of the greatest photographs of hockey. Everybody talks about the Bobby Orr photograph in the air, getting by Noel Picard. I think Glenn Hall was in the nets.
I think you're right.
Passed away for St. Louis.
Yes.
But one of the other greatest photographs I've ever seen emotionally about hockey was, I think it was 1964. And Johnny Bauer from Prince Albert, the Maple Leaf goaltender, was a best friend of Gordie Howe. Of course, Gordie Howe being from nearby Saskatoon, Flora, but Saskatoon.
Yep.
And they both had businesses up in Waskesiu. I think I forget what Gordie was doing. I think Johnny Bauer was flipping burgers or something.
Yeah, okay.
That's what you did when you were an NHL player in those days in the summertime.
What a difference.
And so they were best friends up in Waskesiu. And you'd never see this today, Dave. I know you'd agree with that. So Toronto wins the Stanley Cup. They beat Detroit. Quite a crushing moment if you're in a Stanley Cup final and you lose. Mm-hmm. Gordie Howe stays on the ice. You can look up the photo. Look it up. You'll find it. He stays on the ice to not only congratulate Johnny Bauer, he puts his arm around him and they have a chat and hug and stand there together while the Leafs are hoisting the Stanley. Like, who would do that nowadays?
Wow. Yeah.
That's what a class act Gordie Howe was.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, we sort of digress.
That's all right. We're here to talk sports. Barney's coming in. I'm just the fill-in right now. We're all good.
You're doing good, though. You're answering all my questions really well.
We've got one from Kelly right now that we are going to head over to the text line at 306-936-6262. Kelly says, Ali Saad. I think Ali Saad is going to have a great season for us. And I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Because Ollie earned his spot, right? Like he came in late to camp. He had an NFL workout. He earned his spot. But he was used as an interior defensive lineman. And later on in the short yardage package, which he really enjoyed. But he had never played interior defensive line ever, like in any level, anywhere, at any time.
Isn't
and it's
that something?
Different technique entirely, right? And he fared extremely well to the point that he was one of the guys that was rotating in more and more frequently during games.
Well, you might have hopefully another A.J. Allen case where the Rough Riders develop him, and now he's coming in knowing he's inside. Will he come back heavier? Will he come back stronger now, knowing that he's inside? Because I think there were times when he needed to be stronger physically this year in the inside.
Yeah.
But he was learning a lot. He was developing, and I think they've got plans for him, and hopefully that's correct, that he will be better. I'd like to see a little more weight.
Think of all the Canadian players that we have named, right? All drafted by Jeremy O'Day, right? It's remarkable the number of players. 16 at one point last season, players drafted by Jeremy O'Day and the Saskatchewan Roughriders on the roster. Like that speaks to success right there.
Well, they've had some sleepers, some low draft picks like Schaefer Baker that ended up being brilliant. And they've lost a few to the NFL, and a couple of these players still might come back. They still own their rights, like Kyle Hagel.
Yeah.
The offensive lineman drafted a couple of years ago. Where is he right now, Dave? Do you know? Kyle Hagel, is he still sticking with one NFL team?
I'm trying to remember where he finished the season.
Or is he a free agent?
I don't think he signed a futures contract.
I don't think he did either.
So, yes, that's a great question.
Now, Kyle Hagel would move right in to guard, I guess, or center. I mean, could he be coming back? It's possible.
True.
I mean, one thing Jeremy O'Day is very good at over the years is saving a few bucks.
Yeah.
Just in case a player like a Kyle Hagel shows up.
Yep.
And that's important to save a few dollars.
Well, the one name that you brought up that I find very intriguing, and this player is going to get a significant raise, is Tommy Neild. When he signed last year, I remember I was really, really excited because I really liked what Tommy Neild did in Toronto, the role that he played, the versatility he had, the physicality that he brought. And Luke said, come on, Dave. Like, Luke wasn't buying it. And very seldom does Dave Thomas get one on Luke Mullender.
But you did that time.
But Tommy Neild turned out to be pretty good. The problem is that he got hurt in training camp, right? So he had such a slow start to his season. So by the time he misses 6 games, turns it on, he gets back into the flow right around Labor Day and then becomes a critical part and a big component, right? Especially when you had Samuel Emlis and Kean Schaefer-Baker, and Del Duncan Busby was nicked up a little bit at times as well. And you didn't have a Joe in the picture at that point because he was still with Indianapolis. But
well, I don't think the Rough Riders could get, going back to the very end of the season, I don't think they could get Emlis, Schaefer-Baker, and Neild. I thought the best they're going to do is get 2 out of those 3, which they've already done. I'd be very surprised if they can get Tommy Neild back, because he's going to make, as you said just now, a big raise. You never know. He loved it here.
Yes,
There's no doubt about it. He had a really good connection he developed with Trevor Harris. But I think to think that they could get all 3 of them back, very difficult. I think they did a hell of a job getting Schaefer-Baker and Emlis.
How big, so they're staying with the receivers. How big in your eyes is Keyshawn Johnson? 1,000-yard receiver last year. He's a pending free agent, as is Joe Robustelli, who had moments where he shone as well. How big is it getting 1 or 2 back?
Well, that's why I have to ask you some of these questions. Because you're around, let's be honest, you're around the team a lot more. So when you take Johnson, obviously the most receiving yards on the team, but something was going on at the very end there. Is everything okay with Keyshawn Johnson? Is he fine? Is he, any issues or any problems? Because it seemed like he was running around at practice but not playing, and I don't know what's going on.
He was nicked up. He had... I can't remember if it was left or right, but again, it was down around the knee. I think it was the knee, but again, don't quote me. It might not have been, because I'm not a medical doctor. But he desperately wanted to play in the playoffs and the Grey Cup, and he was doing everything he could to get healthy, because it was such a fluke injury. He caught the screen pass, and the knee kind of buckled a little bit on him, right? So for Keyshawn, that's why.
Well, I actually thought there was a bit of a hit there that I thought was sort of cheap.
Yeah. It was a low hit.
Johnson got injured,
And I was curious about that because, again, it's all about protecting the receivers, and there was no call or fine on the play.
I agree.
But that's not going to make his knee or leg healthy, unfortunately, end of it all. But, again, he's a big piece. If he's healthy, which I'm sure he will be because he was close to playing in the Grey Cup, there's an option. And like I said, Joe Robustelli, again, you send the guy out there, he makes plays, and then they go and throw a flea flicker in Winnipeg in the first play of the game, and he gets rolled up wrong on the end zone when he couldn't bring it in.
Such bad luck.
So I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll see what they do. Like we say with Neil would change things. The one receiver we haven't heard about is Mitch Picton. What's his plans? One time I heard last summer he's going to probably play this season and then retire. And then the next thing you know, well, he won the Grey Cup. Now he maybe doesn't want to retire. I don't really know. I think like a Joe should be better. I mean, the one pass he caught in the Grey Cup game, and you're watching every inch in a Grey Cup game, like every inch they gain or lose, right? And a Joe caught the one pass in the Grey Cup game, and the guy gains 3 yards just falling forward. You know, he's such a physical presence, so we hopefully better things. Duncan Busby, Mims, but Weeb from the Huskies. It does sound like a Huskies show. We apologize to all the Rams and the listening
that's right.
crowd. But Weeb, you tell me what you saw in last year's training camp, because he had a great year for the Huskies. Unfortunately, was injured at the end of the season when they were playing their biggest games. But when I looked at him in the preseason game, I thought, well, he needs to get a little faster, a little stronger. But what I saw of him last year with the Huskies, he did.
Yes.
Now, is he a sleeper? Is Weeb a sleeper to do some damage for the Rough Riders as a Canadian receiver? What do you think?
Well, let's go with Rams content, right? So Picton and Mims, right? So Picton, is it easier to go out on top or harder to go out on top, I think is the question with him.
That's true.
And he's proven that he can still do it, right?
Yep.
Every time he comes in, he makes a play.
That's right.
Deshaun Mims, this is going to be third year, right? So he'll have an opportunity to make the team. And again, he got into one game for 6 yards and a reception last year. He needs to go ahead and make that next step forward.
Yeah.
And like you said, with Daniel Weeb from the Saskatchewan Huskies, you can't teach and coach height. And I know he said all the right things, and I love the guy. He's a terrific person from Rosetown, Saskatchewan originally. Terrific family, but you can't teach the height. And when you look at him, you just wonder a little bit whether or not that height is going to restrict his opportunity to play well in the CFL. The one thing that he can do is return footballs. Mario Alford has not re-signed for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and there's an opportunity with a Canadian on the roster, right? But, again, he didn't return a lot of kicks. Can he do it? That's a question mark. But, of course, the more you can do, the more valuable you are.
There you go with payroll budgets.
Yes, right?
Mario Alford. Are they going to have to go to a cheaper return man? I mean, whether they want Alford back or not, whatever they could get him to sign for. But is it just, no, he has to take a reasonable pay cut, or we just have to go younger as a returner because of the MLS money and all the other players we've talked about that got raises? There's a good question. Can they afford to bring Mario Alford back?
Exactly, right? So I love to recant a conversation that I had with Jeremy O'Day last year. And again, it was such an eye-opener just listening to the art of negotiation, right? We encourage some guys to go to the free agent market and find out what they're worth, then come back to us and we'll see if we can meet in the middle or find some common ground. Mario Alford, if there's one thing I've learned about him, is how implicitly the Saskatchewan Roughriders trust him.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at the other returners, Dre McCray, for example, last year got an opportunity a couple of times before he was released, and it didn't go well. But Mario goes back, he's going to field the punt, and he's going to basically assure you possession, which is a huge point on special teams.
Yeah, and he's still got the speed. He didn't break a lot, but if you took a look at the times when he was going around the corner, you saw a lot of speed. I don't know how much time we got left. A few more minutes, I guess. I wanted to ask you about Jake Maier. Now, Jake Maier on 3 Down Nation was rated the #1 available free agent quarterback in the CFL. He made a base salary, I believe, about $165. Probably got a little more than that with the odd bonus. Got a Grey Cup paycheck. with what we're talking about, with how the Rough Riders have to pay certain players more money, and the fact that they just, they got Cohen, they already have Stevens under contract. Is he gone? Is he as good as gone because they just can't afford a backup quarterback with a salary around that range? What do you think?
When it comes to Jake Maier, he is the ultimate competitor, and you can see that. And Jake Maier was a fantastic fit in the locker room, and I'm not suggesting by any means it was as in past tense. I'm just suggesting that last season was terrific, was a great support, learned a lot and did all the right things. Jake Maier wants to play football, and so does every player. Mm-hmm. I think we are going to find out a great deal what happens in the Canadian Football League this weekend. Trey Ford in Edmonton is up for a big bonus on February the 1st if he remains on the Edmonton Elks roster. He is making a lot of money.
I don't think that's going to happen, do you? I don't think the Elks give him that dough.
Well, we asked Darian Durant yesterday in Double Talk, and Double said, you know what, I don't think there's a lot of guys they're paying on that roster, so they may be able to keep him on at that. It will be interesting to see whether or not, because if they don't, obviously I would suggest that becomes a little bit of a frayed relationship. And
is it already a frayed relationship, or do you think?
Well, they've got his brother playing in the secondary on the team in Tyrell, right? So I think you want to keep them both around, but if something happens there, that could shift the dynamic. Does Trey Ford try to find another home? Because the one that's kind of out there that's a lot of people are wondering is Drew Brown in Ottawa. Ryan Dinwiddie, the new general manager and head coach, says, no, he's our guy. He's the one we're looking at going in. But is he willing to take a flyer on Trey Ford? Because there's also an opportunity you'd almost wonder in BC as well behind Nathan Rourke, because then you're not adjusting the ratio. And we know that Jeremiah Mazzoli is not coming back to BC. So I think that you wait for that chip to fall, and then you can see what's out there, and then Jake Maier can decide.
We got a text here. Sorry, Don. We got a text here from Dean in Regina. Do you think the Riders may look at Austin Mack?
Recently released from the Montreal Alouettes.
Another case you were speaking about earlier where they didn't want to pay him a bonus. Mm-hmm. I think he's tailed a bit, but he was a sensational player for a couple of years for Montreal, went to the NFL. That's a really good question. A really good question.
Yeah.
You just talked about Robicelli and Johnson. Mm-hmm. Would they bring in Mack? I have no clue.
Yeah, that's out there, right?
I thought he did tail a bit, though. For whatever reasons, that may not have been his fault.
He was hurt, too, right, last year? Yeah. So you don't know what you're going to get. That's a great question by Dean. And it
is a good question.
It's something that obviously will be considered, I'm sure. That market with the receivers are going to be interesting with the guys that were released yesterday. Like, I've always been, okay, don't hurt me, a Drew Wolotarski fan. I've really liked the way that he plays and the possession that he can have with the football, right? It comes to him, it sticks to him.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Hamilton let him go. Again, it's one of those roster bonus things that they let him go to free agency. But again, I'm just saying there's so many quality receivers out there right now. I'm really curious what the market is going to dictate.
And Drew was injured for most of his season in Hamilton, was he not?
Yeah.
We never really saw what he could do. Could he end up back with the Blue Bombers?
Potentially.
That's a good question, because I think they like him. It was a matter of dollars and cents that he went to Hamilton. Yeah. I mean, there's been the odd Blue Bomber that's come the other way to Saskatchewan. Could he be one of them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how badly the Riders think they need help with their Canadian receivers in that particular spot. So I would be probably more surprised if he came to Saskatchewan than others. I think there's other spots that they have more concerns about, other position areas.
Give me one.
Well, defensive line.
Okay.
Defensive line. I don't know what's going on with some of these veterans that are going to free agency. Mm-hmm. I mean, how did you think Mike Rose played last year, Dave? How do you think overall he played?
Slow start, ended amazingly well. I think he didn't get as much credit as he should have, because him and Micah Johnson were a force.
Mm-hmm. So in your opinion, you believe the Riders will want Rose back?
Rose has got gas in the tank still.
Okay.
For sure.
So that remains to be seen. It could be, as you said, a case where Jeremy O'Day lets a player go to free agency and then come back and chat with us before you sign anything. We'll see if Mike Rose falls under that category. the Big Brown for the Calgary Stampeders, who the Rough
Miles
Riders
Brown, yeah.
Let go and let him go to Calgary. I personally think there was times this season where the Rough Riders missed Miles Brown. Just his physicality, his heaviness and the inside. Rose is a unique defensive tackle, as you know. He can actually go sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
He's got that much mobility and speed. But he's the Riders did pretty well against the run at top of the league again. Were they as stiff? It's crazy to say this, what a Grey Cup champion. But were they as stiff as the year before against the run? I would say not quite. And, I wouldn't mind it if Miles Brown came back to Saskatchewan. As far as I know, he's a free agent again. I liked him.
I will give you Luke Mullender's assessment during training camp is when we need to go to break. But
of Miles Brown?
On Miles Brown. Okay. I said to Luke, Luke, Miles Brown has left the interior of that D-line. That's a bit of a gap. Are you concerned? His 4-word answer, we've got Caleb Sanders. I'm like, okay, I believe you.
But that was when we also had Micah Johnson.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There you go. There you go. Okay, we're going to take a break. This is the Sports Cage coming back with your sports ticker in a moment. We'll update you on what happened at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts this afternoon with Jolene Campbell taking on Carrie Anderson and much more. You are watching the stream at sportscage.com and, of course, listening across the province at 620 CKRM. All right, let's get to your sports ticker again. Reliance Group of Companies. Western Hockey League regular season continues tonight. Prince Albert Raiders at the Moose Jaw Warriors. Puck drops at 7 o'clock tonight at the Temple Gardens Center. Saskatoon Blades continue their Alberta swing after a loss in Edmonton on Sunday afternoon. They take on the Medicine Hat Tigers. But here in Regina tonight, the Regina Pats holding their skills competition. Doors open at 5:30, and then the contest gets underway at 6 o'clock. Fun for the whole family. Affordable price, and of course, a great charity going to be the benefactor of that this evening. Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Mississauga, Ontario. Jolene Campbell and her Saskatchewan foursome dropped to 2-3 as she falls to Carrie Anderson and Team Canada 10-4 this afternoon. Anderson is 5-1. Of course, Caitlin Law is still undefeated in Pool A. Pool B will play tonight again in Ontario. SJHL, 3 games on the go. Flin Flon at Nipawin. Melfort takes on the Battle Fords. Humboldt is playing in Kindersley. AAA under 18 hockey. Warman plays Prince Albert, and Notre Dame is home to Swift Current. Girls action tonight is PA and Saskatoon. And in the National Hockey League, the Buffalo Sabres take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs have lost, 4 in a row? Yeah, and then they had somebody flip the bird, and their coach got 50 stitches. Well, great week in Toronto. They'll be hosting the Buffalo Sabres, who have won 3 in a row. Vegas takes on Montreal, Winnipeg, at New Jersey and San Jose. Plays Vancouver. That's your sports ticker for Reliance Group of Companies. Coming up, we've got Arash Madani, Don Hewitt, and Barney Shynkaruk returns. This is the Sports Cage on sportscage.com and 620 CKRM.
Okay, welcome back. Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm back in the chair. Thanks to Dave. Did Dave say where I was? Did he lead on
He
to?
said just filling in for the hour and you'll be back.
Yeah, I was in a big meeting. The other job.
How did your meeting
I had a headache. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I got a massive, I don't know how I'm going to do this for 2 hours, so hopefully you help. Colson helps, and then the people on the Prairie Land Rentals text line can help out. Now, you guys talked riders.
Yeah,
what did you cover rider-wise?
The players signed, the players not signed, basically would be the theme. The different positions and areas of the club on the field. That was it. We filled the whole hour.
I told you.
Just talking that.
I told Dave.
But I just wanted to congratulate you, Barney, because your New England Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. I thought of you when they won in that great play at the very end when they did that little end around with the quarterback to seal it. That was a great call.
Sounds like he kind of ad-libbed that a bit.
Oh, did he?
On his own. Is there's some reaction there, but no.
Around there, yeah.
It was tight. I wrote an article. I don't know if Dave put it up on sportscage.com already on my bets. I took a spread of 4.5. I bumped it up. I don't know why. And I was like, I think because if they're going to win by 3.5.
Who knew that weather was coming?
Well, that's what I was, and that's what a lot of people are talking about. Did they know the weather was going to change? And then a lot of people, and we're going to get into it with Arash here right away about the decisions that were made.
Yeah.
But then, you know what I remember? On Saturday morning, is when I was in Vegas right before Christmas, my wife, I sat there. I had that moment. As Arash might be listening to this. I sat in the Planet Hollywood Sportsbook, and I was putting some bets down on hockey, possibly the ponies, a bit too. I like to play the ponies. And then I said, well, I gotta put a Patriots bet down, don't I, on the Super Bowl or something?
Yeah.
And there was like two guys on my shoulders, right? Like, you know, the old Flintstones. And the one guy's saying, well, yeah, you have to, like, they're your team. And then the other one's like, they ain't going. I'm like, what are you? Don't be stupid.
Who did you listen to?
I kind of in the middle, and I went, I'm going to just bet on the Patriots to win the AFC. Not the Super Bowl. AFC champs. Dawned on me Saturday morning. And I ran up to my travel bag, and I look in there. Sure enough, still there. I got it plus 380 was the odds. So not great, but not bad. Mm-hmm. So I had that, and then the next morning, I went in, and for some reason, I went to the spread a little higher, so I lost that. But the bet that I hit, I don't know why I put it down, Drake May to score a touchdown.
No.
Yeah. I just had a feeling, so I put a little sprinkle on that, and that hit. So that paid off. When it came to the late game, I took a tie on Sports Select, the 3-point thing. That didn't work. But online, I took the over-under for just a little bit. But it was a roller coaster. That's for sure. What a shootout that second game was.
Tremendously entertaining.
Yeah.
Under good weather conditions. By the way, I was talking to Wes Cates at lunch.
Yeah.
And he was talking about you, Barney.
Oh, no. What did Wesley have to say?
And he talked to me about a football game that he played against you.
Yeah.
I think it was Flag Football League.
Yeah. I tried to get him on my team.
And you were the quarterback, and you went after Wes, who was playing corner. Of course, Wes was playing after his CFL career. And Wes said it turned out good for him, that play. What do you remember of that play?
No, it was because Wes Dominguez and Fraser used to play with the Riders.
Yeah.
All played on this one team that was the powerhouse, and they were the best team. They were really good, and all that. But you had the, I guess, confidence from those guys that they like to jump routes a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
So you could kind of pick on them. And you had really good receivers, right? And you run any kind of double move, double out, smash in, smash out, flag post.
Yep.
Sometimes you'd be able to get them. So I would have to go to the tape, because I would say there'd be times that I got Wes too with some of my guys.
I don't know. All he talked about was his pick six on Barney.
Yeah, well, I threw a few of them. Yeah, we'll have to give him.
That's what he mentioned. I said, can I say that on the radio? You go, oh yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Wes remembers all the stuff. Hey, Wes remembers a pick six on me in men's league.
Yes,
perfect.
He does.
Let's get it going with Arash.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Hey.
What is up, fellas?
How's it going? How's it going? You know how I don't need to get into it. People are getting sick of it already, and we've only been back for a few weeks. I say,
Don, you know what's amazing about the guy beside you?
There's a lot of amazing things.
You go going into wild card weekend. I don't have a good feeling about the Patriots. No. I'm going into the divisional playoff against you. The Texans have a good defense. I don't know about the Patriots. Going into Denver. You got to watch out for Jarrett Stidham. Like, he was just, he's been carpetbagging this the entire time.
Yeah, he has.
Know?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
I'm a half empty guy, and I just, as much as it might seem odd, I just don't like the overconfidence play. And the NFL and one game, and it doesn't matter we've seen it happen in football all the time. I just don't know. And it almost happened that Jarrett Stidham took the Broncos to the Super Bowl.
I mean, your quarterback threw for 86 yards to punch their ticket into Super Bowl 60.
He's slinging it. That's what he was doing in the blizzard. Okay. Well, can we start And the fourth down decision by Sean Payton. I don't know who wants to go first. If you want to go first, I have some comments on that, but the floor is yours, Arash.
So I fully understand we now live in a world where the analytics people have taken over, and you go for it on fourth down, and field goals are viewed as some kind of, I don't know, poison. And the toothpaste is out of the tube, and it's now chewed up in the sod, and it's not coming back. I get that. I understand that. I'm not waving my fist at the cloud. But situationally, you have a backup quarterback starting who hasn't played a game in 3 years. Like, I covered baseball for a lot of years. You ask a manager of a baseball team what the weather's going to be, they will tell you hour by hour, half hour by half hour, what's on the radar, what's in the forecast.
Yeah, that's right.
Sean Payton knew what was coming. So you know a blizzard's on the way.
Yeah.
You have a backup quarterback. Your offense hasn't really done much outside of one play. You take the points.
Absolutely you do. I mean, it was an error. He knew it, and he felt very bad about it after the game. He made no excuses. It was just, that's situational football. He didn't follow the rule. I mean, analytics aside, if you've got Bo Nix as your quarterback, yeah, maybe you go for it. But that's a whole different equation that Peyton was not in.
I find it really funny, and just listening to different shows as well. And I haven't even listened to many in New England about it. There are 9 minutes and 20 some seconds left in the second quarter. And this is what everybody is hanging their hat on. I find it really odd that even if they do kick the field goal there, they go up 10, and now the Patriots are playing from behind, and there's a blizzard coming, and yada, yada. The game plan, a play could have been changed by the Patriots down the road. Then the Broncos might run something, tip ball, pick. There's so many variables that can still happen in the game. And I'm all for aggression when you have... So then there's both sides of this. You have a guy that hasn't played in 3 years. Let's put our raisins on the line. Let's go. Get it done.
But why throw the ball?
Well, the play call, I'm talking about the idea to gamble. The play call, which they take a timeout.
Yeah, they second guess themselves.
If I'm coaching, I don't know, then some coaches out there that are listening could be different. I'm saying we're not giving them more time to think and to go through. What are they probably going to like here? What is analytics? What does Peyton like to do on a call? What's the OC like to play on a call of this? Where does Stidham going to be more comfortable throwing the ball? Who knows, right? I just find I'm like, don't take the time out. You got to go. And then they can't. Throwing the ball is odd. Then we'll probably get into the other game too and the play call there. But
hold on.
There's so much time left in the game. I don't know why this is being so blown out of proportion, but I'm in the minority because everybody's talking about it.
And the late, great Don Matthews used to preach this, and he'd always say, you tell me what you think about this, Arash. He'd always say, a football game is never decided by 1 or 2 plays. And the media will fixate on 1 or 2 plays. And he added up how many plays there are in a football game. And I forget how many there are, generally speaking. He said, you got all these other plays where you could have won the game, and you didn't. And that's where the game is decided in all those other plays, but it never boils down to 1 or 2. What do you think, Arash?
You know the other thing Don Matthews said? The thicker my wallet, the better looking I get.
Yeah.
That was also
what a line.
That's a good one.
I have some news, which I'm starting to get tired of every single Hall of Fame out there and the ridiculousness around it. But Seth Wickersham and Don Van Natta are now reporting that Bill Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a first ballot inductee.
Ooh.
Like, how are there double-digit human beings with a ballot who have elected not to vote Belichick in? That just got reported.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Yes.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer by a mile.
What were the numbers?
So you need 40 out of 50 votes to get inducted, as a first ballot Hall of Famer. He didn't get the 40. Now, I don't know what the total number was, but that means at least 10 people, 10 out of 50, didn't vote for him. And here's my take on this, my immediate hot take. Whomever did not should have their vote stripped. They should no longer be allowed to vote. If you're not going to vote for Bill Belichick, then who are you going to vote for? Why do you have a ballot?
That's right. That's absurd.
Well, obviously, he's pissed a lot of people off.
He's pissed a lot of people off.
That's
turned into a popularity contest.
Yeah, it has.
I was just going to say, it's not right, but sometimes
Carlos Beltran, I'm just going to end with this. Carlos Beltran just got into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Carlos Beltran was front and center in the middle of the Astros trash banging scandal. He was involved in all that. That's cheating. So he's into Cooperstown, but Barry Bonds isn't. Explain that one to me. Barry Bonds, the best baseball player of my lifetime. I just don't.
So I guess steroids is worse than banging a drum.
Steroids is worse than cheating. What you do behind the scenes is worse than what you're doing in front of everybody. Oh, man. Belichick, not a Hall of Famer. Oh,
was it a drum or a trash can?
Oh, I guess it was a trash can.
I love, to be honest, I love that move. I would love it. I'd love to see an ESPN 30 for 30 on it. I still can't believe that happened in our, that is something you do with your friends at a park, playing just pick up whatever. It doesn't happen. This really happened in the major.
You wouldn't even have the audacity to do in the park because you'd get your butt kicked, right?
You have to play with the wrong guys.
Would have the audacity to do such a thing.
The strong arm brothers. There was 4 of them in my neighborhood. And you ever play basketball? You play something against them? You just never wanted to win. You wanted to get close just to go, well, we could have won that, because the strong arm brothers would rough you up just for fun. The strong arms. I got their first names too in my brain, and we're going back like 40 years.
You could probably take them now, Barney.
No, I can't. I'd play them in flag football though. Get Wes on my team. We can. Okay, let's go to the Patriots game. And what did you think of the Patriots call? Now I'm hearing mixed reports that it was Drake May's call or audible out or freelance, which I have a tough time believing. But to seal the deal, a ballsy play, Arash.
Yeah, it was a great play call. And honestly, before the play, I'm like, that's what you got to do here. Is that, you fake the run to the right side, you get the defense to bite. I didn't think they'd loop May all the way out to the other side of the field to rush for the first down. Mm-hmm. What do you have to lose in that spot? Right? It's a misdirection play. It effectively leaves one linebacker on the quarterback, and 10 beats 52 for the first down to clinch your spot into the Super Bowl. You're not going to throw the ball. You can't throw the ball in those conditions. Everyone's sitting on the run. Drake May can run it. I loved it. I thought it was an understanding between Josh McDaniels and Drake May, and that, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, that's going to be a focal point of the series, of the movie on these Patriots. It's going to be one of the identifiable moments of this run.
What about the Patriots defense in that game?
Whole season though, Barney.
Yeah.
And I think what's important to remember is a couple of things. One, the Patriots have been bad for a while now. But here's what they've done. They've hit on their draft picks. And that is the most important thing to do. And you go back-to-back 4-13 seasons, you invest picks in your defense, and then you go spend the most money of any other team in free agency. And yeah, some of it was on Diggs, and yeah, some of it was on your offensive line, but they invested in their defense.
Yeah.
And Milton Williams is just an absolute game wrecker. And you look around that defense, it is guys making plays. What Carlton Davis has meant to that secondary, you hit on your picks, you spend money on defense, you're going to win. And that's what the Patriots have done.
Well, that's right. And you win championships with defense is the old adage, and it will never end. It's always going to be true. I think on the other side, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, the Minnesota Vikings should move their franchise to Fargo.
Fargo, no.
The Fargo, North Dakota, just as a penalty. But it'll be interesting, having said that, it'll be interesting to see what Darnold does against New England defense. It may be a closer Super Bowl than we think, because obviously the Seahawks are heavy favorites. He certainly did a great job against the Los Angeles Ram defense that was looking pretty good at times. But I think the Super Bowl is going to be closer than Barney. You know more about this and the numbers and the betting, but I think it's closer than what the point spread is right now. It could be closer because of the strong defense in New England.
I think it's 4.5 or what. And I'm really curious. You should write that down, Colson. We should figure it out what is today, and let's see how it moves, because we got 2 weeks here. But I want to ask about Darnold. Just like, this guy has been bounced around, treated like a dish rag at times, I find. The one thing that I remember about Sam Darnold, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, he came into the league really young.
Yes.
Yep.
And there was a lot expected of him, but he was like young out of college. But now he's getting to a Super Bowl, and there are a number of teams, a number of scouts, a number of front office people that are probably scratching their heads throughout this whole year, and especially now going, what the heck?
You know,
Yep, that's
what
right.
happened to Sam Darnold is now actually affecting the draft today, because Dante Moore out of Oregon has decided to go back to school. We all know that Mendoza's going 1 to the Raiders, and then come the Jets. And Dante Moore has decided, you know what? I don't want to be the next Sam Darnold. I don't want to go to a team that's dreadful with talent, that has no hope of winning. I'm just going to go back to school. Sam Darnold was put in an impossible situation in the Meadowlands. He was super young, Barney, as you said.
It wasn't possible.
And now, like, not only does he put on an incredible performance to lead his team to a Super Bowl, but here's a dude who threw 3 touchdown passes and was pressured on all 3, like the next-gen stats or whatever that come out. That's where he had struggled earlier. That's where the interceptions had come. And guess what? There is one quarterback in football today who has had, over the last 2 seasons, 30-plus wins. Not Patrick Mahomes, not Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen, not Matthew Stafford, not Drake May. Sam Darnold. It's weird how in sports we so often are so fixated on the rear view mirror instead of the windshield. Where you were drafted, when you were drafted, what you did early in your career, what your first playoff performance must have been like. And it goes both ways. Marshawn Lynch has been milking his first ever, the Beastquake run his entire career. J.J. Watt made a career of having an explosive first playoff game. I think Sam Darnold is very close to extinguishing the ghosts of the past, literally and figuratively.
And
By the
and
way,
some, go ahead.
let me just cover this, because I think this is relevant to this show more than any other in the country. Guess who just signed a contract extension through 2028? Nathan Rourke, locked up by the BC Lions. There's
Good.
not that there was much of a
Good
talk
contract.
of Rourke ever going back to the NFL, but now it's done. He's going to be in the CFL for the rest of his career. He's locked up by the Lions moving forward. So just wanted to pass that along, because that just came.
And we'll see if his brother ends up in Saskatchewan.
That's the question. When does Bro say, "Okay, now it's time to go play"?
soon.
That's a
No
good
time
question.
soon.
You know, I think we saw with Trevor Harris this past season, who played his best football, the most confident football of his career, was so confident in the Grey Cup game, one of the greatest drives in Rough Rider history in the Western Final to win it. How meaningful it is when a coach believes in you. Now, McDonald is more of a defensive coach than an offensive coach in Seattle, but he totally, and has said that he totally believes in Sam Darnold, just like Mark Mueller said, and Coach May said about Trevor Harris. And, you know, it's like the old style of coaching doesn't work anymore. It's the main thing is building confidence in a player, not browbeating him when he plays poorly like the old coaches used to do, but rather quite differently in supporting them. And that's what I see in Darnold, that you know, he's got an organization that's got good players around him and believe in him. And it's and there's something going on in Minnesota. Likely they weren't quite as good a team around him when he flopped in the last two games after having a great regular season. But there's so much to be said for believing in your quarterback.
Well, you have to now. You have to now, or the quarterback doesn't stand a chance. And I'll even take this back 2 teams ago. Like, by the way, Darnold, drafted by the Jets, then shipped off to Carolina. And it kind of seemed like his career was kind of teetering. But then remember, what was it, 3 seasons ago? Goes to San Francisco to be Brock Purdy's backup. And then suddenly there wasn't any pressure on him as the starter. Suddenly nobody's talking about him. Suddenly he just had time to be in a quarterback room, learn from Kyle Shanahan. And then he ends up in Minnesota with zero.
Then wasn't he with Sean McVay briefly, Arash?
He may have been with McVay too. Yeah.
And those two guys,
And there were no expectations on Darnold going into last season. And then came the 14-win season and, you know, kind of proved himself. And the Vikings, I mean, you know, ask any coach, they got to justify the draft pick, so they let Sam walk for J.J. McCarthy. And from there, the story is told in Seattle and the story is told in Minnesota.
Yeah, those two coaches that he was around in San Francisco and the Rams, I'm just wondering if that just turned him around. Those two coaches are so great with quarterbacks.
And time and understanding the league and understanding the position. Like, so often now we now live in a instant coffee world. Like, we want results immediately. Quarterback is not Folgers. Like, it is a slow drip. And people want results now. Drake May is about to ruin this for everybody, by the way. You know, because now the expectation is to do it, and it's just such a hard thing to do.
I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and you don't mention Sanka when you're mentioning instant coffee.
Can you still get Sanka?
I don't know. Wasn't it the big instant coffee back in the day?
Well, it was non-caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
For the mellow people.
I just remember. Hey, give people a look, because you've been around. Give people a look at, like, this week going into, I guess, when they head to Santa Clara or San Francisco area. What goes on in both buildings this week pre-Super Bowl, Arash?
So in Seattle, because they won and they were at home, Monday is a full logistics day. They're going to bring all the players in. There will be no football involved. There will be people coming in. Okay, this is how the travel is going to look for your families. The tickets are going to look for your families. This is what this is how we're going to do the flights. We're going to have charters for everybody. They want to get Monday and Tuesday spent on getting all that hoopla out of the way. And the reason I say that, the Patriots, because of the storm, we got 60 centimeters of snow here, by the way, the last few days. Patriots, because of the storm, they didn't fly to Boston until Monday. They probably will take care of a lot of that. They probably took care of a lot of that today. Excuse me. But the next 3 days, guys, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is full football. It's full install. It's full game plan. It's almost as if you're playing this Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Vrabel even puts the pads on one day with his guys to try and keep them sharp, etc. And then Saturday's probably a light walkthrough. And then they'll travel Sunday to Santa Clara. The issue is you want to get a lot of your work in now because Monday is media night. There's so many things happening down there that you want to make sure that before you get on the plane, everybody's ready for the week. Everyone's ready for the game. And then it's more just dotting I's and crossing T's next week in helmets and shorts.
I'm kind of looking forward to it over the next 2 weeks, although next week I'm not doing Monday and Friday. So people will get sick of me, but that's okay. And then because the first Super Bowl we went to in Arizona, we were there for almost the full week. So you got to kind of see a bunch of stuff. The Storm was in New England, so they didn't get there. The fans didn't really get there. So it was very Seattle. You went down to the convention center and all that. And then I'll tell my Super Bowl ticket stories and just the fake. I'll try and find that one and bring it here now that we're on the stream and show the back on how you can tell if the tickets are fake or not. It is next level. And how many people get burnt on fake Super Bowl tickets. And that's the Houston one was the same. The Houston Super Bowl was the same thing, but not to the extent as I learned that week in Arizona. But yeah, it's that storm I want to talk about. So your house, how many inches of snow would you have gotten?
Oh man. 5 feet of snow. We had 60 centimeters of snow.
I can't fathom that. Anybody that's ever been to Toronto, it's like when it snows Eastern Seaboard, and people here always go, little bit of snow shutting them down. Hey, and I'm like, we're in a farming community. Have you ever been to the Eastern Seaboard? Yeah. And if you got that much snow,
so much more humidity.
The disaster of trying to get anywhere. Millions upon millions upon millions of people trying to get places. Arash, I don't.
Well, Arash, how much have you shoveled?
I'm about to email Colson some photos to put up on the stream.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, this is like outside of my driveway and my driveway. Just madness.
Well, I was watching the Toronto weather, and they said that because of the temperature difference off Lake Ontario versus the ground, Lake Ontario is warmer, and it somehow develops the snow right over Lake Ontario, and it pours in off that.
And it wasn't just here. Like what I found wild was like the Dallas Mavericks games were getting canceled, Memphis Grizzlies games were getting canceled. Like this,
it's that far-reaching.
Yeah, it slammed. Now they didn't get 5 feet, but. It's been wild.
I saw some videos on social media yesterday from Toronto. Oh, it was Ken Reed from, and I was like, "Are you kidding? That city would be an absolute disaster. You just stay in for the week, and especially if you're a loud muffler guy and you don't have winter tires and your vehicle's this far off the ground. Good luck.
Good luck.
Is that you? Do you got like a Civic?" Like lights underneath?
I have an
loud
SUV.
Muffler?
I have an SUV, but it's staying parked. There's a lot of staying parked today.
Okay, I can't. Let's regroup on Thursday. Oh, you got the pictures? Yeah. Give me 1 second. If people are watching the stream, we're going to see Arash's driveway.
So there's a before and after photo.
Arash getting in very good shape.
There's going to be people flying there to throw garbage on your driveway that don't like you. Guys like Jeffrey in Calgary on the YouTube chat.
Oh, Jeff. We're talking Blue Jays in October, and he's asking about why I ate the stamps.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a healthy dump.
That's a healthy dump.
Now, where's your house? Oh, there it is. Okay. That's what you... Yeah. Oh, wow. You did a really good job, Arash. That's a lot of work.
Did you pay someone to do that?
Did you do that yourself?
There was nothing to do on Monday but that. So
well, good for you.
Got a sweat in.
Yeah, it was more than a sweat. that wasn't in one shift. That was a 3-shift operation. You know, you had to
a few lucky loggers in between. Treat yourself.
Afterwards. More, I needed an oxygen tank.
We'll send you a Western Pizza wheel if we could.
I like it.
Okay, talk to you Thursday, bud.
All right, boys.
See you later.
Thanks, Arash.
That is Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Golly. Smart investing solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly. It's a lot of snow. Don.
Well, Barney.
Are you a snowblower guy?
Well, I don't use it unless I really have to, but I will complain to my wife about shoveling if there's 2 centimeters fallen, that I have to go out and shovel because there's 2. I can't imagine 60.
60 centimeters is not even 2 feet. Kip on the Prairie Land Rentals text line.
It tires me out, 2 centimeters. 60?
2 feet. That's close to. I don't know. I don't like it.
Arash
And it'd be
did
wet.
fish.
It'd be probably really wet
Yeah.
and damp, and you're trying to throw it, and your lumbar would be all messed up. You need to go to the lumbar yard.
Arash did it in 3 shifts. How many shifts would you need, Barney?
I'd take 3.
Yeah,
I'd go 3 shifts for
I'll
sure.
take 5.
I get my kids out there though.
Oh, your son could do it in 10 minutes.
No, I'd find an excuse. My shoulder. No, how much am I getting paid for this? It's a SportsCage. We're streaming again, YouTube channel through sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. Okay. I'm not an Oiler guy. 2 years ago, I was really rooting for him to come back. But if you're an Oiler fan and you got back to first time in NHL history that defenseman back-to-back hat tricks. Evan Bouchard Saturday night. We're going to talk about that game, and then Ekholm last night. An empty netter. Do you have the empty netter to play, Wilson?
Coming off their 6-5 overtime win here Saturday night.
That's a great play.
Darn right. It is right behind his own net, all the way down the ice, and through players. It was a seeing eye shot in some respects. You know, you think, okay, is it time the Oilers aren't going to make it to the Stanley Cup final? And then you watch that game Saturday night with that comeback against Washington, and then that goal by McDavid in overtime, and you thank your lucky stars that Connor McDavid is a Canadian, and he's playing for Canada in the Olympics next month. And without forwards like McDavid, you know, we don't win. We don't win the gold medal because we, I think, have better forwards. The United States arguably has better defense and goaltending. But with McKinnon and McDavid, they're the difference makers. And as we saw in the Four Nations, he hasn't slowed down. Connor McDavid has not slowed down. He's still got that speed, Barney. The same speed he's always had, and he showed it against Washington. And they were practically tackling him. And, you know, he's tougher than what he's ever given credit for.
Yeah.
He's hacked. He's whacked. He's dragged down. If you want to know what's the problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs are, their stars won't put up with what Connor McDavid puts up with. Really. They won't get into those areas. Connor McDavid will muck and grind. Even though he's not that big or that heavy, he will sacrifice. And don't count them out in the playoffs again because of that attitude. And, you know, even look at a Zach Hyman, who's now back, and, you know, he weighs 220 pounds. Zach Hyman, who guessed it? And so, yeah, don't count the Edmonton Oilers out because they've got that unbelievable leadership from their captain.
He's amazing to watch. I can't wait. Thursday, Sharky's going to be here. He was at that game.
Oh, really? That'd be
And
cool.
it was a sleeper. That first period was garbage for a Saturday night. I'm like, oh, Sharky's probably in one anyway, so he's probably enjoying things. But then it was something to see live. That last stretch and into overtime. I can't wait to get Sharky's take on it. Find out what jersey he wore. Also, McDavid. I watched that Anaheim game last night. It was hard to find, first off, and it's like you had to watch it on some Los Angeles local like telecable almost.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Like how he can separate. And I know there's other fast guys in the league. There's fast guys everywhere, but it's unbelievable. And I'm trying to think of when we're gonna see it again. Someone with this speed in the NHL.
Yeah.
That makes he makes it look like he's playing a pickup game. He got called up. He's that guy that I played junior and he called up your buddy and for a pickup game and everyone's just like, well, this guy's way too good. Like, why would you bring this guy out? Like, and I'm not an Oilers fan.
Well, he's 29 years old, 2'9". Hasn't slowed down at all. The last player that I saw...
Is he getting faster? Maybe?
I don't know if he could possibly be faster at 29. But I don't know. I don't think so, but he hasn't lost any speed. And the last player that I saw, I'm a little older than you, Barney, but you would have seen the clips. Last player I saw that skated this much faster than everybody else on the ice was...
Give me what team?
Boston defenseman.
Bobby Orr?
Yeah.
Really?
Bobby Orr is the last player that I saw that
separated like that.
This guy separates so much. He's so much faster than everybody else. And Jean Beliveau, when I got to interview him once back in 1995, he told me that what happened with Orr, two things that he made a comment on. Number one, he'd get mad at his fellow Canadian players because they were so amazed at how fast Orr could skate, they'd just stop and watch him. And number two, he said what happened was he was so fast that guys would just stick their legs out and to try to stop him and have a lot of fouls on him.
Is that
knocked out his knees?
Yeah.
Which is awful. But Connor McDavid is, I would say, has been faster longer than Orr. Like by 29, Bobby Orr's knees were shot. They were long gone. And I just hope that nothing like that happens to Connor McDavid.
We need him healthy for the Olympics too.
What's that?
We need him healthy for the Olympics. All these guys. And I know the other thing on Monday too, or not on Monday. The other thing on Saturday night, right after the game, it's like, oh, Evan Bouchard. If anybody's hurt on the back end, is he the guy? And I'm like, please, man, please. But maybe he is. If somebody gets hurt there, is Evan Bouchard the first call on D?
You gotta wonder. Like, he's also got a bit of an edge on him. Like, he's not that big, but when they were in the Stanley Cup final against Florida, he really had an edge on him. Physical edge on him for a guy that size. But then you see him sometimes on defense, and you do sort of go, oh my goodness, I don't know. I think it'll just eliminate him. Unless they could figure out a way just to play Bouchard in the power play in the Olympics. But the game is too fast, even with the shorter ice. It's too fast. You have to have the sixth defenseman.
Old Bouch might be in trouble at the Olympics, I think.
Can you imagine if Bouchard could play defense, though? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he'd be like Chris Pronger. I remember that guy shoot the puck. And just mean.
But Bouchard is more accurate. He's a very accurate shooter.
Got a good shot.
If you take a look at the great shooters like Bouchard, Barney.
Ray Bourque.
Yep. Yeah, when Bouchard is taking a shot, look at his head. His head is up and it's looking at its target. He's never near his stick or the puck. He's looking straight ahead and following through with his eyes to the open spot in the net that he sees, like all great shooters. Another shooter like that, Mike Bossy of the Islanders, one of the best I've ever seen, and many people have ever seen. He could hit a deck of cards, the top corner. Always eyes up. There's the eye-hand coordination is taken for granted. I know how to hit this puck or shoot this puck really fast. I don't have to look at it. I'm looking at my target, and my follow-through like a golf shot, Barney. My follow-through is through my eyes. That's why I can't golf either. But
you don't do the belt buckle or some people say the glove on the golf swing. There's so many stupid rules out there, and you're just like, have you seen?
You try to go through your eyes on a golf shot too.
Oh man, I'm just trying to.
I couldn't do that with a puck or a golf ball.
I'm holding on for dear life. Sometimes when that club goes back, I have no idea what's going to happen. It's like a full body dry heave. I don't know where it's going. Thanks for.
I think you're a better golfer. I've heard than you're. Admitting to.
Thanks for sticking around and doing everything with Dave today.
Yeah,
you really helped me out.
I'm glad you got out of your meeting okay.
I got a headache. That's all I know. Where's that old fashioned? Where's that Last Mountain old fashioned when you need it? That was Clutch Performer for Glen Solar, located in Lumsden. Family owned. If you need anything solar, if it's for the livestock operation or maybe just the house, the farmyard, and like that, Glen Solar in Lumsden can help you out. We'll be right back. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. I just saw Kipper on the Prairieland Rentals text line. Said, I just said that because Arash said it was about 5 feet of snow. He did. That would have been crazier. 5 feet. Probably drifted up in some areas pretty high.
Well, yeah, like his the driveway pictures here. I'll grab those again. The driveway pictures. The drifts on the sides are probably closer to 4 or 5 feet, but.
Well, yeah. No, that does. It piled up to 5 feet. Still 2 feet. I still. There's too many people there for it to be crazy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You had another story. You had a Clutch Performer.
Yeah. No, I know we had to let Dawn get going there, but Caitlin Laws is doing pretty good at the Scotties right now. She's 6-0. And if you didn't see her shot from her game against Canada here, well, I'll throw it up on the stream for you. But
We saw Kelsey Calvert earlier today. She's the best at hits. Here we go. Looking for that angle raise. A double to maybe get 3. Got this. Run it back. Bang. Got it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you do.
to get 3.
What a shot.
So, hits her own rock, runs it across the rings, takes out 2 reds, gets the 3.
Yeah, that's a shot.
Yeah, and she's 6-0 right now, so leading the pack.
And Vic Router calling it. Like, just the best.
Oh, so good.
Right?
It takes me right back to my grandma's house.
Yeah, sitting there watching a did Grandma yell at the screen?
She's
Did
not
something bad happen?
She's not a yeller at sports.
Oh.
She'll get upset, especially with the Raptors lately, but
Oh, she's a Raptors fan. Granny's a baller.
Yeah. Well, her sports are her thing to keep engaged with her grandkids. So, Raptors sort of follows the NFL, just keeps her eye on it, just to be aware of it. Yeah, but no, curling's her main thing, and we always put curling on when curling's on there, over for Sunday brunch, those kind of things, So,
my late father used to watch curling, and geez, some of the language I heard as a kid, and some of the things, like looking back, whoa, that was something else. Yeah, no, that was a great shot. I wanted to circle back. Dawn had to go on the Ekholm getting a hat trick last night for the Oilers. Back-to-back games, of defensemen getting hat tricks for the Oilers. First time in NHL history. I don't think there would have been a line on that to sprinkle on, but if you could have.
On that specifically, no, I don't think so.
That was pretty cool. He talks about how he's got younger kids and all that. So after the game, here was his post-game press conference.
Maybe a little bit of not as safe as death. You can't play safe, but a little bit more of a sounder, cleaner defensive third period. With that said, you're absolutely right. Like we can run and gun with the best of them. So it's both ways.
What's your opinion of that young Anna?
I grabbed the wrong part of the clip. Give me 1 second.
He talks. I think the first part of the clip is he talks about he's never had a hat trick. He can't remember having a hat trick. I'm sure he did when he was younger, but he doesn't remember having a hat trick. And then he talks about going for the empty net there and where they were in the game, and they were up by a couple. Okay. And then he talks about his kids.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Jealous of Bouchard, so you had to go out there and get a hat trick of your own?
Yeah, I guess. Nothing I thought about before, but I guess that's how it turned out. So, yeah, fun moment. That last face-off, too, was up by 2, up by 1. I'd probably just try to chip it out. But, try to take a look at least at it and see what happens. But fortunate enough to get in there, so... Yeah, cool moment.
Evan said that it was his first ever hat trick ever. What about you? Is that your first ever?
Oh, probably. As far as I can remember, yeah. No, I usually not known for my goal scoring ability. So couldn't buy a goal for 20 games and then 3-1. So that tells you the story.
Were your kids here or up watching the game at home?
They were here for warm-ups. I think they were here for the first. So tough luck. I don't know. Maybe my oldest watched it on TV, but I'll have to check with my wife later. The games go pretty late, so they got to get up for school tomorrow. But we'll see the highlights tomorrow.
Who would be the most excited of your kids to see that dad got a hat?
Probably, I think all of them, but William's older, so he's 7, so he understands it more, obviously, and he will get on the highlights by himself. So I'll say him, but I think all 3.
You were saying the other night that you were going to make them watch Bouchard's game. What did you pick up from Bouchard's game? Because it seems like there was something.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like you look at the goal.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. That was it. I should have chopped that better for you. That's on me. But anyway, back-to-back hat tricks. What would have been the line on that? What happens? Who's the D-man for the Oilers next game? Under pressure now. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're turning the corner. I'm not sorry, Calgary fans. I don't know. You might have to go through another year of the Oilers making a run here. They look pretty good. Let's go to break. Come back with the ticker and give you an update on what happened at the Scotties for Team Saskatchewan. It's SportsCage, streaming through our YouTube channel, sportscage.com. All right, the fellas covered it in hour 1. Nelson the Combo re-signing with the green and white today. Also news out of the CFL. Nathan Rourke extended through 2028 by the BC Lions. The Scotties, Jolene Campbell falling 10-4 to Canada. Her record is now 2-3, and that's it for today. She doesn't play tonight. Western Hockey League Saskatchewan teams, the Raiders at the Moose Jaw Warriors, 7 p.m. at the Temple Gardens Center. Saskatoon Blades at the Medicine Hat Tigers tonight. SJ Nipawin welcomes Flin Flon Melfortson. The Battlefords Kindersley hosting Humboldt. AAA Midget Boys, Swift Currents at the Notre Dame Hounds, 7:30 in Wilcox. National Hockey League, Leafs home to the Sabres. Canadians hosting the Golden Knights. Winnipeg's in New Jersey. And Vancouver welcomes San Jose. It is for Extreme Hockey and Sport, where they have a Yeti sale on. 20% off Yetis. All you hockey mums and dads, or dance, or whatever. Extreme Hockey and Sport right now. Also, a good deal on sticks. Picked one up there yesterday. So, local hockey shop, price match guaranteed. They're in Moose Jaw now at the Temple Garden Center and located at the Cooperator Center and the regular store here in Regina. Extreme Hockey and Sport, they support local. They are local. Hour 3's coming up. PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia off the start. If you think you know NHL history when it comes to defenseman scoring, you can start calling now, 936-6262. And we'll also have Glen Suitor. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Sports Cage. On Tuesday, like you said, for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Main fundraiser for sport culture and recreation in our province. We're doing PumpJacks Trivia right now. Okay, let's do it different today. Playing for $50 from PumpJacks. I know a lot of you driving home right now. This could be a good time. 936-6262. You got to call in. If you haven't won anything on CKRM in the last 30 days, Colson's got everything there, so don't even try and cheat that system. He's got it all in front of him. We're going to take first caller, Colson. I know we got Glen Suitor coming up in a bit, but let's do PumpJacks Cathedral, 13th and Albert. Live music on the weekends. Kids allowed until 8. Draft beer, ribs. Perfect place before and after a game. Pat's game, your kid's game. Dance, recital, whatever. PumpJacks Cathedral. Okay, here's the question today. We're going to do it different. We're going to ask a question and take caller number 1. If you haven't won the last 30 days. On the heels of the Edmonton Oilers having back-to-back hat tricks from defensemen, question is, who is the highest scoring defenseman in NHL history? 936-6262. Highest scoring defenseman in NHL history. You're playing for $50 at PumpJacks Cathedral. If you don't get it right, then you still get a lunch from PumpJacks Cathedral. Colson's going through all the numbers right now, figuring out who hasn't won in the last 30 days, and if they have. And then he's going to tee it up. While he does that, let's go through. We're going to talk tomorrow about some local sports coming down in and around Regina. Specific hockey game tomorrow night. Don't forget the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation Winter Breakaway is on 50-50. Guaranteed $50,000 payout. Guaranteed $50,000 payout. The bonus prize is a Mexico all-inclusive vacation, flights to Cancun, 7 nights at the Paradisias, Playa del Carmen, and the Mayan Riviera, or you can take $6,000 cash. And then they also have the early bird prize of Blue Jay game, the season opener, and a Leafs game. Flights to Toronto, downtown hotel, Rangers, Leafs, Blue Jays, Athletics, March 27th, or take $7,000 cash. You got till February 6th for that. So if Riders 50-50, winter breakaway, $50,000 payout. Go to riders5050.ca if you want to play along. Colson, you got a name for me?
Yeah.
Here it is. We're at PumpJack Cathedral. We got someone on the line.
It's time for SportsCage Trivia for PumpJacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
All right. We got Odin. Odin, are you on the line? Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
What are you doing today?
Just heading home from work.
Okay. $50, PumpJacks Cathedral on the line. You got 10 seconds to answer, but I don't think you're going to take all 10 seconds. Who is the highest scoring defenseman in NHL history, Odin?
That Ray Bork.
Ding, ding, ding. Correctamundo, sir. 1,579 points over his 22 NHL seasons. Odin, have you been to PumpJacks Cathedral?
Not the one in Regina yet.
Okay, so stay on the line. Colson's going to get your information. Thanks for playing. Thanks for calling in. You got 50 beans to PumpJack. And, yeah, you can play again in 30 days. Good job, Odin. There it is. Ray Bork. It's a lot of points. 1,579. Shot in the shootout in Nagano and legit shot on Hasek. Did he miss? I think he might have missed the net, or Hasek get a piece of it. But yeah, Ray Bork. Great career. Let's get into it with Suits. Is it time? He's there? All right, let's go talk football with Glen Suitor. No intro, I am told. It's press coverage.
I love when that happens.
Hey, button hooked me. I didn't know. What a week. Did you watch the NFL games before we get into CFL stuff? Did you watch the NFL games this weekend?
Yeah, I did. And the discussion for the Broncos and you know, my buddy, and whether or not they should have kicked the field goal is an excellent one. I mean, it's the one we have in the bar. You're watching the game. You go, do you kick it here? Do you gamble here? Do you go for it here? I'll weigh in on that one, and I'm weighing in it based on sort of something that's not measurable, really. But that I think that's a lot of coaches and a lot of people sort of forget to add to their equation when they're thinking about whether or not this was a good decision, is the momentum of stacking positive plays, positive outcomes, and continue to stack them, which puts you in a position of control of the game and the opponent in a position of chasing the game. And that's the only reason I would have picked. I know that, you know, I know that it's so tempting down there. I'm with you on not liking the play call once they did decide, but I would have kicked only because, not the analytics, less on the analytics. I know that they're important too, but not on them. This is not about that. This is about continuing to stack positive plays and positive outcomes, and then you walk away with that extra 3 points, and the Patriots squeeze the stick a little bit tighter, and you know, you're chasing the game from a Patriots point of view now, and the Broncos are in control of it for a while. A lot can happen. That was in the second quarter. The game was nowhere near decided there, but I still would have taken the points in there. If you know, you people and fans have heard me on the air many times say I'm taking the points, and it comes from the ex-player in me on the sideline watching our offense drive the field and go, well, come on, take the 3 points. Let's take it. Even if we're down by 15 or whatever, take the 3. And it's a positive thing. We'll come out and try to get the 2-and-out stop.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to say take the points, but then the other thing going around is, did they know that blizzard was moving in too? Because that weather changes everything. And how many points are points going to be? How valuable are they going to be? I'm of the mindset, and I said this with Arash as well, I don't know if you heard, it's so early in the game. I don't want to say it's a nothing burger, but I'm like, yeah, you're going to be able to make adjustments. The play calls could be different if you're down, if you're up, all that. Yeah. So I just find it is so early in the game. And, people are saying it's bravado and, Sean Payton, that's what he was going to do and all that. Playing aggressive is good. You got a quarterback in there, and then it's both sides. And this is the question I want to ask you is, you got a guy that hasn't played a game in 3 years. Mm-hmm. So are you kind of like, well, we got nothing to lose? Well, you do have something to lose, but are you just going to let him sling it? Let's be confident. Let's go and get it. Let's kind of bury him here. Or do you say, hey, buddy, you haven't played in 3 years. We're taking the points when we can get the points. It's tough.
It's a great question, and I'm sure Sean Payton had sort of considered all of that. I mean, I guarantee you he knew the weather was coming. I guarantee you that happened. Yeah. If those guys, they know. They'll make calls to the weather station, not rely on apps and things like that. They're calling the professionals on that stuff. And the decision with a young quarterback and stuff, I'm sure that weighed in. I would guess, though, that he wouldn't want to say one way or the other. Like, he's not going to say, listen, you haven't played in a while, we're going to take the points. He's not going to tell him that. I saw a different player after he completed that deep ball early in the game. And he throws this one. Now he's walking with a little swagger, and he's in that huddle. And I thought, okay, he hasn't played in a long time, but and I think who was calling that game? Was it Romo on that one? Romo was on that one, I think.
Yeah. Nance.
Yeah, and Romo said when you complete a pass like that on a deep ball that early in the game, I don't care how long you've been playing or if you're rusty or whatever, your confidence level goes through the roof. So either way, I don't think Sean Payton wants to talk to his quarterback about his decision on that. He's just, But for me, I'm taking the points because it stacks good plays on the next good play, and it puts 3 points on the board, and it gets the Patriots chasing the game.
The other game was an absolute shootout. It was great. And then there's this decision there, too. Do you gamble or kick the field goal? I was surprised they didn't kick the field goal. But then I also get the gamble there, too. Easy to go back and say that at least that you're there to score, where the Broncos on their gamble, you just had another first down. You ain't scoring on that. So who knows what plays out after that. Although for the Rams, they score and all that. But that game was a shootout, and we talked about it with Arash. Like, Sam Darnold is a quarterback, and you can equate this to the CFL, and you've seen players that have, not had a great start to their CFL careers, and then we're kind of shipped off here, shipped off there. I don't know if anybody comes to mind. And then a little bit of a resurgence in Minnesota last year, and he's continued that on to Seattle. And I'll say it, I am shocked, because you look at his work in those first few years, and it was like, what a bust this guy was. But now he's taken the Seahawks to the Super Bowl, and they're going to be 4.5 point, if not more, favorites by the time it's kicked off.
Yeah, the guy that comes to mind is Cody Fajardo. A guy who, has got some opportunities, took a team all the way to the final, then was kind of, okay, that's enough of that. Then he took his next team to the Grey Cup, and then, okay, we got a better guy. And, he just continues to. And Cody got off to a bit of a slow start. Most quarterbacks do, honestly. Like, the only guy that when he first started in the CFL that was really successful was Ricky Ray, that I can think of. I mean, Doug Flutie took a year. All the Edmonton quarterbacks, whether it was Dunnigan or Tracy Ham or Damon Allen, you could even go back as far as Moon and Wilkie. I mean, you're talking about sort of succession there, not a guy that in game one, in year one, steps on the field and looks good. So, and it also depends on, I heard you guys talk about the confidence from the team and the head coach. I think that's a huge factor, the trust level there. Let's give credit to the player who locks out the bad and continues to work and improve his game with humility, and all of a sudden gets that opportunity in the right coach, the right system, players around him, and takes full advantage. And I think it's great for him. It's kind of the thing you want to cheer for, and that's kind of one of the reasons I think, Barney, we love sports. We love seeing these stories of guys that were told you're no good or told you're not going to make it here or there or whatever, and bounce around a little bit and then go all the way to a Super Bowl.
Jeffrey on the text line says Anthony Calvillo. Yeah, that was the guy for him that he remembers not being, having to grind. And KD also as well. Before we get into CFL news, I meant to ask you this last week. When's the last time? Are you still playing men's league hockey? Are you still skating?
No, I'm not. I have.
You cut out. Can you hear him? I can't hear him. Hold on. Oh, feed left. Maybe I hit a sore spot. With Suits asking about his hockey career. Ask him if he's still skating. He just killed the feed. He's like, you're asking me tough questions here. He got into it. Is he back? Not yet. Okay, well, we're going to get him back here. I'm like, Suits. He pulled his internet cable out.
You froze on me.
I thought maybe I hit a sore spot asking you about your hockey if you're still skating, but you were saying no, and then you cut out. So you're not skating anymore.
No, well, I traded in my skates and stick for a fishing rod, and my spare time now, that's mostly what I'm doing. Not necessarily in the winter, but I haven't really got into since the pandemic. Really, we had a team, Barney, that was the best beer league team you could be around. Like, just guys that you love to go to the locker room. Nobody wants to leave on the Tuesday night at the 10 o'clock start or whatever. And now it's 2 a.m. Most of them have to work, and we're still sitting in the locker room. There is nothing like that, and there's nothing like the taste of a beer, and really win or lose, but the taste of a beer after a game in the room with your guys. I don't know, man. I miss it a ton.
Because I was going to ask you, why aren't you suiting up in the Winter Classic this weekend in Saskatoon? But then I guess that makes sense. You're not playing anymore. Because I was like, well, for sure, you get Suits out there banging and crashing, standing in front of the net, causing havoc. Okay, so you cleared that up. Nathan Rourke till 2028, BC Lions. It was announced this afternoon. That just makes sense. I don't think you're catching anybody by surprise. And some people are going to say, well, he's here now. He's never going to explore the NFL again. Well, if the NFL comes knocking and it's actually a position to be like, hey, you're going to come and play, Nathan might go again. But regardless, he's locked for a long time. I think the bigger question for me is, when do we see his brother here?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got to get it in his own mind to say, I've exhausted my opportunities or my chances down here. Maybe I'll get another one at the other end, like after 4 or 5 years in Canada. But then his brother is going to have to come up and make the team and become a starter and earn the respect of his teammates like he would down there as well. And for Nathan, this kind of leads to the discussion on these longer term contracts. And I know now, because of Austin Max being released in Montreal, the receiver, and after signing a 3-year deal, and, a lot of people on social media right now are saying, this is the problem with the league, that and this is why players don't want to, get settled in a city, bring their family and all that kind of things. This is pro football, and both sides of the equation needs to be discussed here. A long-term deal for Nathan Rourke is outstanding for the team, but it doesn't mean for a second that he's locked in and can't try again in the NFL. Like, he'll have that clause in the contract. They all do. So it doesn't matter where he is in his contract. If the NFL comes and puts some real money on the table, because until they put real money on the table, they're not completely going to look at you. They're not completely serious. They're bringing you down as an arm. Maybe they'll take a look, but unless they put some money on the table, like big money, I don't think Nathan's going anywhere. And the Lions have locked him up so that he doesn't get into any sort of free agent issue in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, which wouldn't happen, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, but again, these long-term deals, like, people saying Austin Mack, and let me just play devil's advocate for a second and talk about the club side of that discussion. Austin Mack was great in 23. Last year, not as good a season. He was injured part of it, and that was an issue for him. But it's like the money being spent, the team has to look at it and say, yeah, whether there's a signing bonus due or not, they have to say, are we going to look at this guy at, let's say, $200,000 a year, or can we get the same production out of someone? That's just the game. I mean, that's pro football. I mean, if you can get better production out of a guy that, and they may know more about the injury than any of us know as well, or more about those, his physical side of his game than us do. So there's two sides to this equation. It is unfortunate. I'd love to see players stay in the city and be marketed and buy a house and, make it their homes. And that's ideal when it happens. But it's pro football, and, you have to bring in the best players you can and balance it. Having said that, boy, there's a lot of big-time receivers in the free agent list right now. Okay. I wonder if Riders will go after any of them.
Ooh, here we go. Let's stir the pot. Well, where's a good... if we're playing kind of fantasy football here, or, video game, Stratomatic, whatever, where's the most logical landing spot for Mac as far as you're concerned, Glenn?
Well, if he's moved his family to Montreal, which I read, and he wants to stay in the East,
Ottawa,
then you're looking at sort of, and again, if it depends on where his family is down south as well, like where's his parents and whether they're still here, I don't know, but I think there's that angle to it. But it's appealing to come to a championship team. There's six guys. There's six guys that, when I checked this morning, are still free agents as of the free agent deal in February. And these are all received: Austin Mack, Tim White, Braylon Addison, Dalton Schoen, Eric Wheatfall, and Dom Rhymes. Those six guys. There's. I mean, if I look at those guys, I mean, probably some of them, maybe most of them, signed back with their teams. Like Dalton Schoen, probably back with the Bombers, although he's had a couple of injuries now that you wonder about. But the guy that jumps off the page to me there for a possible Rider resurgence would be Tim White. I mean, something happened in Hamilton where he became kind of inconsistent. And when he wasn't being consistent on the field, he was still accumulating over 1,000 yards. In years where we were describing it as he's having another off year. He's a 1,000-yard guy, perennial 1,000-yard guy with the potential of being a 1,700, 1,800-yard guy. And there's a redemption side of Tim White, right? Like, Barney, when you're an athlete and they've said no thank you, you just want to sign a deal and show them they made a huge mistake. I don't care really what team. Give me a really good quarterback and I'm in. if you're a receiver.
Shove it up. Yeah, I totally get that. No, I just don't. I don't know. I would like to know what's going on with Tommy Neild.
Yeah. But as longer that we go here, the more it's going to look like that some of the guys will wait until they'll wait until free agency, take a look at what the market will bear, and then they'll sign back with their team if it's not a big difference. Hey, one real quick one. I did talk to the league today.
Yes. Okay.
And we had a discussion on Thursday about the 3 minutes and how they, at this point, the recommendation from the rules committee is to keep the 3 minutes, final 3 minutes of the half and the game the same way as they are now. And I didn't think I did a very good job. You guys were great. I didn't do a very good job of trying to explain how the nuance of that. And you made a great sort of scenario. So team's down by 4. Riders are down by 4 against the Bombers. There's 2 minutes, 50 seconds left. They run the ball up the middle for 4. What happens? Okay, so this is the biggest difference, because in the NFL, you have to throw it out of bounds, you have to throw it incomplete, or you have to get out of bounds, or there has to be a penalty or a timeout. And they have 3 of them in the second half. They can save all 3 to the final 2 minutes down there. So in Canada, you only have 1 timeout. That timeout in the second half could also be tied to a challenge. So if you lose a challenge, you lose all your timeouts. You don't have one in the final 3 minutes. You can't stop the clock with the timeout. It's basically stop time. So that run for 4 yards up the middle, the clock will stop once that tackle is made. Different than the NFL. So then the official goes and gets the ball, and this is the little nuance that I missed on Thursday. The official will go get the ball, place it, and then when he blows the whistle, they start the clock again. But that gives the team that's behind with the football a chance to rally, get up at the line of scrimmage with their play called on the line, and really not lose any time. Mm-hmm. And that's really so when you consider that, even on a running play up the middle, that's why in 3 minutes you could have 3 or 4 changes of possession. Now, some people have said, well, that's kind of rewarding failure, because if you go 2 and out and then you have to punt, you still get the ball back. It's not at all reported, with
promoting failure.
Yeah, it's not at all promoting failure. What it's doing is it's allowing the defense to be part of this scenario, because they need the 2 and out, or the team with the lead just drives the ball and ends it. And you go back to the West Final and the great drive by the Riders. I mean, that was a great example of stop time. A running play, the clock will start, but the officials, remember, they have to come out. Sometimes those guys will come out, they'll go to place the ball back down, and they'll look to see if there's substitutions from either team too. And sometimes they'll look and see, that could be 20, 30 seconds by the time they say, okay, let's whistle it back in and start the clock again. By that time, Trevor Harris is out over the ball. They're ready to snap it, and only 1 or 2 seconds disappears. So it rewards actually a team game.
Can I ask, though, the whole 35-second clock thing, that people are bent out of shape and they're like, I don't. But so that's just a running clock to speed it up. The clock is still stopped. Like people are confused, and there was a number of them here, and maybe some people out there aren't good for you. But what people were thinking is, we run that ball on first down, get the 4 yards. The clock is still running. It's just 35 seconds. And I'm like, I think it's just 35 to keep things speedy, so guys can't basically have another timeout.
Yeah, no, the 20. Yeah. No, let's just talk about the final 3 minutes. The final 3 minutes has not changed at all. At least the recommendation right now is not to change it. Therefore, the 20-second clock starts once the official blows it in and ready to go on that running play you're talking about. but the clock also stops, the game clock.
Yes.
That also stops. When the play is over on the running play, that game clock stops. And so the time that the official is taking to get the ball from the running back, get the pile cleaned up, put the ball back on the field, and get ready to blow it back in, the offense that's behind is back over the ball already. They're ready to go. They've called their play on the line of scrimmage, and they're ready to snap the ball. So essentially the clock, the game clock, there's not much of a gap there that starts it again, but there is a gap to get them ready. That's why you don't see quarterbacks in our league spike the ball into the ground. First of all, we only have 2 downs to make it happen. Secondly, you don't have, you can be ready before that game clock starts again. In the regular time, not the 3 minutes, but regular time with the new 35-second clock, that as soon as the ball is dead, the 35-second clock starts. So you've got to substitute, and here's what's not been talked about. You've got to substitute your teams. They have to be on point. You got to bring in your personnel. You got to get that all done in 35 seconds. But there is still the 20-second clock for the huddle. So that will kick in once they blow it back in. But the 35-second clock runs. And here's one thing that no one's talking about that's going to, I think, make a positive difference is when that because of that new 35-second clock in regulation time, not the final 3 minutes, but it is regulation final 3, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the regular time, right now the replay center is constantly communicating with the on-field officials. And part of the reason for the delays in games and why that Stuart Johnston wants better game flow is because they are taking a different amount of time to blow the play back in. They're allowing teams to substitute. And occasionally, and actually it's becoming more and more common, the replay center will talk to the head ref. So he won't blow it in yet. He'll wait. And he'll be listening to the replay center and saying, hey, did you see this or that, what you did? They'll be talking to him in real time. That slows the game down because he has not now whistled it in. He's holding the teams off, and we have a longer break there. So now with this 35-second clock, the officials have to be on point. The officials can't talk to the replay center every single down. And I think really most fans, I certainly am one of them, believe that a better flow there and less involvement from the replay center is a good thing. I really believe it is a good thing. So I tried to get clarification today that I hope that helps with people that are sort of struggling. And the nuance of the final 3 is that stop time. Mm-hmm. When the whistle blows on the tackle, the game clock stops until the official says, okay, now we're going again. And that gives the offense that's behind a chance to call the play on the line.
Mud clear. We can revisit it on Thursday. It's exactly what I was stuck because I got into it with somebody and I'm like, I am no expert. I don't know. I'm following along with you, but they were like, no, it's going to be like the NFL. It's 35 seconds and the clock's going to keep running. And I was like, I don't think that's the case. So no, clock's still. And then, like you said, the recommendation to keep it 20 in the fourth quarter, the last 3 minutes. So that's gonna be good. Okay, let's regroup on Thursday, my friend.
Yeah, sounds good. Your Pats are in it, man.
I know. Go out there, go and buy a shirt or something. Get some paraphernalia on you.
On Thursday, I want to ask because based on your gambling tendencies, I'm wondering, as a coach of flag football, how many times are you going for it on?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can pose me a question and I'll give you an honest answer.
You sound like you're gambling big time out there as a coach. I think that would be cool.
No.
Be aggressive, man. Go play to win.
Talk to you Thursday, Suits.
Okay.
There is press coverage with Glen Suitor here on the Sports Cage. Again, trivia. Congratulations to Odin. Oh, no, Noten Day. That was from Kids in the Hall. He won that. That was a long segment. we just did, Colson. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. It's the Sports Cage, streaming through sportscage.com. Jolene Campbell's rink drops another one at the Scotties. They're now 2-3. They lost 10-4 to Canada today. Their day is done. CFL news, the Riders re-signed Nelson Lacombo. Also, British Columbia Lions re-signing Nathan Rourke till 2028. Probably not a bad play on their part. Hockey. Saskatchewan teams in the dub. Prince Albert's at Moose Jaw down the road. Temple Garden Center, 7 p.m. puck drop. The Blades are in Medicine Hat to take on the Tigers. SJ Nipawin welcomes Flin Flon. Melfort travels to the Battlefords. Kindersley home to the Humboldt Broncos. AAA Midget Boys in Notre Dame, 7:30. Swift Current Legionnaires are in town. And the NHL teams from Canada that are skating tonight. Toronto's home to Buffalo. Montreal welcomes Vegas. Winnipeg travels into New Jersey. Vancouver Canucks home to San Jose. Sports Ticker is for Regina Steelcraft Doors. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Regina Steelcraft Doors. Okay, we, Colson didn't talk. I was in hour one. Thanks again to Dave Thomas and the professor who took care of hour number one. Wall-to-wall rider talk, you told me it was.
Yeah, that's a good summary right there.
Okay, so they haven't talked about Shedeur Sanders is going to play in the Pro Bowl flag football thing?
I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, for those...
Was he even a starter? Like, how many games did he start this year?
Started a few. Hold on. I think I sent myself something on this.
But I was like, how desperate are they getting for quarterbacks, which I guess, right? A guy's grinded all season, especially the teams that you've been out for a while. You probably just want to kick back and relax. It's like, oh, I got to go. Like, what? It depends what the paycheck is, I guess, too.
Yeah.
Money talks.
I don't remember. This isn't the graphic that I found earlier, but a lot of people were saying, so why is Shedeur going and not Trevor Lawrence? Because Trevor Lawrence played the whole season.
Heck, throw Trevor Harrison.
Fair enough. Like, Shedeur started like 4, 5, 6 games, I think.
Yeah.
Lawrence played the full season.
Yeah.
And apparently was also top 3 in MVP voting. Which, I didn't know that at all, but it was because it was mostly a 2-horse race. So.
Sounds odd.
Either way, yeah. It sounds like something weird going on here.
And then the Cleveland Browns, speaking of Cleveland, their hiring pool is dwindling. Guys are pulling out of that and being like, peace out. No, it's like coaching in the NFL is a sweet gig for anybody that's in that, and you want to better yourself and say you coached and make the money and all. But then these guys, and there's guys backing out that really aren't big names. It's like, how dysfunctional is your organization when you daily have people back? How many are in the race now? Because I was in the meeting. I didn't check a lot of social media today on it. But I was like the Cleveland Browns job is it's like your buddy asking you to help move. No. I don't want that gig.
From what I'm seeing about 2 hours ago, it's not official yet, but the breaking news is that they're tapping Nate Scheelhaas, who is the passing game coordinator for the Rams, to be their head coach.
Yeah, Nate's got 24 hours to pull shoot on that. Pittsburgh, I know a few Pittsburgh Steeler fans. Mike McCarthy.
Well, he's a hometown Pittsburgh boy. Did you know that?
Yeah, very offensive. I wonder where that leaves Aaron Rodgers. Start thinking. He's more offensive side of things than Tomlin was, but I'm like, I don't know if I knew he was from actual Pittsburgh, though.
I thought he was. Hold on.
Joe Brady, hired in Buffalo. I like that. I like them going with Brady. I don't know if Brian Debo said no thanks as well. No one's as dysfunctional as the Browns, though, after the last few days, I don't think. Who wants to coach the Browns? Nobody.
Yeah. Well, when you start tapping the passing game coordinator of other teams, you're starting to get low on the totem pole.
Bills fans got to be happy with Brady, though.
Yeah, keeping the guy who knows Josh around, which means I think Josh had some say in it.
For sure he does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you were even thinking about a guy that Josh didn't like, yeah. No, so it just interesting. Shadir Sanders, Pro Bowl. I don't even know what they're doing. Speaking of like skills competition thing, the Pats tonight have their skills comp at the Brandt Center, which will be a lot of fun. I don't know. I'll just pull it up here what time it starts. But it's a chance, especially if you got young kids and they're hockey fans and they're fans of the Pats. Great to go to. I think it's for charity.
Yeah.
Do you have it up there? The details?
Just got to it, but it's a full article, so.
Yeah, it's tonight at the Brandt Center. We're going to get the time right away. It's the Regina Pet Skills Competition. See them fly around the ice. Little breakaway stuff. I don't know, maybe some of the staff will get in on it.
That'd be fun. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh, shoot. She starts right away in 10 minutes. Maybe some of you are heading down there.
Yeah.
And what's the fee?
Season ticket holders, free admission, $10 general admission, or $5 admission with a donation to Sophia House.
There you go. Tonight. Starts at 10 minutes.
They are also accepting donation items, non-perishable food items, grocery store gift cards.
Tegan would probably be in the stands doing her thing.
I believe she is.
She should get the blades on and go out. Get out there. Do some Dante versus Tegan race.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It's actually really interesting if they both. Who would win that?
Yeah,
Does Dante skate?
Fastest skater, hardest shot, most accurate shooter, stick handling, shootout competition, relay race, and one-timer challenge are the events.
One-timer challenge. They're going to blow through some $400 sticks. One-timer challenge. Don't be taking one-timers. Those expensive sticks. Get some wood ones out. All that. SJHL report is coming up on Thursday. It's brought to you by Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor for GP Financial and Avisa Wealth. Employee plans might not be right for you. You might want a second opinion. You can call Chad and his team or visit gpfinancial.ca. Mentioned the games tonight in the SJ. Flin Flons at Nipawin, Melford at the Battlefords, and Humboldt at Kindersley. The weather's kind of breaking here. It's been a long stretch for bussies, bus drivers, player, anybody working outside. Obviously, I don't have to tell you, but it's good that somewhat going to get warmer here for the traveling. Western Hockey League. We mentioned the Regina Pats are in action. Moose Jaw also at home, 7 p.m. to Prince Albert. Raiders are a good hockey team. If you're in the area, you might want to watch that.
They're number one in the CHL now.
Yeah. Saskatoon is at Medicine Hat. That's a test for Saskatoon. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about AAA U18 game tomorrow night. That is going to be a dandy going down in Regina. Also, did you hear the U of R Cougars women's team dropped their first game of the season? They won the first one Friday night.
Yep, 83-66.
Against the Pandas.
Yeah, and then dropped 65-61. It was a tight game. My parents went and told me, it was a close one. They had some chances at the end, but
what kind of crowd?
Decent showing, pretty full. I haven't gone to one in a while. They used to take us when we were younger, but usually you get somewhere between 50 to 2/3, 50 to 60.
We're hoping to speak to a member of the University of Regina Cougars women's basketball team because they got a big set this weekend against the Huskies, and the Huskies are like undefeated.
Yeah, in Saskatoon for the first one on the 29th. That would be Thursday.
Thursday night affair.
Yeah, Thursday night in Saskatoon, and then Saturday night here. So regardless of how the first one goes, it's still going to be an exciting game, that second one. So y'all should show up.
Let's go to break. We'll come back with Sprinkle of the Day and wrap it up. If you got any sprinkles that you're thinking of, 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. We'll be right back. Sprinkle of the Day. You simply make your picks online now. If you would choose with Sports Select, you do it on your phone, get a QR code, and you go into your Lotto Spot retailer. They scan it, and you run off with your ticket. And then if you haven't played in a while, It's got the little S beside it, and you go online. That means it's a standalone game. Like me on Sunday, I went standalone Rams and Seahawks. I took the tie, hoping for a 3-point game. Didn't win. But tonight, I would like to do Lawrence's hack, but we can talk about maybe that tomorrow because I know we're pressed for time here. I want to go Winnipeg Jets at New Jersey Devils. Winnipeg on the road. They are plus 5 on the point spread, but I'm going to go win straight out. Visitor in regulation, game 97. Let's go Jets. 245 on the pro line today. Do I want to parlay it with anything? Because this is where I get into trouble. Seattle. Ooh, Washington's in Seattle. Washington's on a long road trip. I've had a few days off there. 245 for Seattle to win at home on the pro line looks awfully inviting. No, let's just stick with the one. I'll generate my QR code. Head to the Lotto Spot retailer, scan it. There we go. Every bet is 100% legal with Sports Select. Chance of winning cash in hand when you're ready to play. Bet on the original. Sports Select must be 18 plus to play and play responsibly. That was Sprinkle of the Day. What did you have to wrap it up today?
So, NFL's got their alternate jerseys, right? And all I've been seeing with this Super Bowl matchup is people going, can the NFL please let them wear their retros? The Seahawks retros and the Patriots retros. And I'm like, that would actually be really fun. Is the NFL going to do it? No. But that'd be a good matchup there if you ask me.
So I wonder how that all works. Like at the NFL, if the Patriots said we're wearing Pat Patriot, those are so good looking. The Seahawk ones, man, whatever. They're all right. Reminds me of Tecmo Bowl.
Fair enough. I suspect it's literally just the home and away team thing, right? And then you get your default jersey, and that's just what it is. I would be surprised if it was any other way.
All right.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. Okay, tomorrow we're back here on the Sports Cage. Supposed to finally catch up with Darcy Kemper, Canadian goalie, heading to Italy next week. We're supposed to talk to longtime hockey coach Perry Pern, who's coaching the Chinese national team. Senior hockey report. We're going to tee up that big game in Regina at C6 tomorrow night. And Eric Francis, and we'll hopefully talk to a member of the University of Regina women's basketball team. So they get set for their big weekend set with the Huskies. Colson, thanks so much. Thanks to Dave Thomas again and Professor for taking care of the first hour for me. I got a massive headache. I'm going to go home and slug back some Tylenols, and we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.